Should I just talk into this?
The problem isn't the audio playing. It's I think it's just our ears. But I don't know. I don't know anything. The only thing I do know is that I am back in beautiful Texas, my country, my home country. Got here as fast as I could, just like old Teddy Ballgame. It's Ted Cruz.
No, it's not.
He's not from here.
No, he's not. And he's also not Teddy Ballgame under any circumstances.
Well, he goes to a lot of ball games, and then the team loses.
He does. He does. The real Ted Cruz curse is when a Democrat tries to take him on, though.
Hell yeah. And, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dan McDowell.
I'm Jake Kemp.
I'm Blake Jones.
Blake Jones is scrambling.
Well, we're buying time.
As we are not in the Game Day Men's Health studio, where you can go to GameDayMen'sHealth.com and then call Game Day Men's Health and get 20% off.
That's 10.
10%. 25.
Yep. How about I meet you in the middle at 10?
Call for 20. I'm scrambling too. Anyway, we're not in the Game Day Men's Health studios, which is our home away from home. But this is actually my literal home. We are high atop my garage, and this is Jake's first look. Is the ears working now?
No.
They're not blowing me out? Oh, okay.
No, nothing is working.
What?
Because you have your headphones on.
Yeah, I love what you guys have done with the place.
Yeah, it looks beautiful. Now, do the veins work? The body looks good.
Well, I can't fix it if you don't tell me what's wrong.
Oh,
what is
I
it?
can't hear. There's nothing in my.
Yeah, I'm not hearing a thing.
It's
Okay.
just
One
Dan and I
thing.
talking.
But then if you do turn it on, it'll blow out my ears.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Are
well,
you sure you're not just hearing it from a speaker?
that's great. No, Zach is hearing it.
No,
I was
I'm
hearing it
hearing it.
earlier.
Yeah.
And once you started talking in the beginning of the show, I have ceased to hear one thing through my headphones. But
Whatever ball, dude. You know what Jason Garrett used to
Why?
say? Grass, turf, parking lot on the moon.
this is the problem,
We'll
folks,
meet you there.
with recording live to tape. Because if Brian Curtis does this, it'll all get edited out.
Dude, you get upset.
We're
like
live
I do
to
now.
tape, boys.
When I listen to podcasts and I know they did like a clear edit and not a spot edit,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy.
Like,
drives me crazy.
you guys are fake.
Come on.
This
Hang
isn't
'em out there.
This isn't big naturals like
Chief.
we are. We're the big naturals of podcasting,
Hell yeah.
or the
I like
saggy
Saggy
naturals.
medium naturals.
Anyway, we got to sit in here. This is Zach.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Last name?
Hamilton.
Is there any chance people are hearing him talk right now?
Probably not. I can't hear myself in my head.
Well, yeah, I know you can. I just know I feel like Zach's mic might be low priority for Blake right
Let's
now.
check
Yeah,
with
that's fine.
Clayton. How do you feel, Clayton? Is this all going out over internet?
I'm hearing everybody just fine.
Clayton's
hell yeah.
hearing everything.
Oh.
Okay. Ooh. Came on and then got hot. Came on and then got hot.
Clayton's hearing everything, and he's subscriber number
But
2.
I'm on the positivity tip. The place looks incredible. You guys really opened it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
right.
Film
You weren't
space.
here. You were on the beach. That must be nice. So, yeah, we spent all of Friday and all of Monday doing this, the prior to last week. And then I took off for Clemson, where I said, you know what, I'll do 3 shows from Clemson, guys. And then I did nothing.
It's okay.
I am going to go visit my other daughter in New York at some point. I can guarantee I'll be able to do the show there. This was moving,
Yeah.
and it was an extreme beating, but we got it. We got her moved out of her apartment into another apartment.
You should have called some hunks.
Some
You always
hunks
see
to
those
help move.
trucks. I always see those trucks. They're like college hunks.
That was me.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
I was the college hunk.
I imagine you out there like Frank the Tank out with his Firebird or whatever out front, bandana on, like, hey, ladies.
Yeah. I
You ever
like
had a
college,
man.
man.
You ever had a man with a podcast?
I could go back to college. We could make a funny video about that or a movie.
Let me ask you a question that's going to delve into creepy, but I think we can avoid it. Do college girls now to you look older or younger than they did when you were that age? And they're all legal, so this is okay, unlike my uncles when I told them I was considering homeschooling.
I'm hearing stuff in my ears.
Yeah, we're popping. I'm wet. I'm lubed up. Oh, yeah. I like it right there, Blake.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Ear me. Ear me.
Yeah.
Has any girl ever said
Oh,
ear
yeah.
me?
That's
Has
the
any
right
girl ever
spot.
said that? Yeah, then that's not a girl. That's a woman. And on that same topic,
They look older.
yeah. So when my uncles used to say it, I was like in 8th
Yeah.
or 9th grade. And I'm
When
like,
we were
"This-
all 19, we all felt like kids or something. I don't know. But,
Yeah.
now I'm like, there's no way. Judge, as I'm pleading my case in front of the, she does not look. Look at the age she is. She looks like, yeah. So I don't know.
The weird thing, I think I tend to agree with you when I see them on social media. But when I see them in person, like I saw a handful of 21 or 22-year-old girls out on the town Friday night in Fort Worth. Those look like children to me. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I have a young daughter right now, but they just, I don't know.
You've gotten soft since you've had that daughter.
Well, I was never really like scanning for the.
You're all anti-porn.
for the. Yeah, I don't know about that. But
That's someone's daughter. Okay. Well, that guy. Then that guy did a poor job. That's what we need. We need other guys to make
Right.
kids have daddy issues so that we can enjoy. Like, hey, how am I going to marry
Sure.
my Jordan Hudson if every girl is going to be, got their head put together on them?
it takes all types.
I need a Jordan Hudson.
Sure.
I was out there scouting.
I read this weekend that I was reading about Hitler's dad beating him up a lot.
Yeah.
That's a little, kind of a major daddy issue if you think about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like kind of thought he was gay and stuff, and would just get hammered, whip the shit out of him. No, this won't go poorly for the continent. Anyways, status check, sit rep here. How do we feel? Everybody, you good? B Jones?
We're doing better. I think.
YouTube's reporting good.
I could use a little more in my ears. I am not sure if I'm still in control of that. Is that your bit
It's
now?
my bit. Now.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
take a little more ear.
A little bit more, and I think we will
Little
be
more ear.
cooking with fish grease here.
Yeah, we're everything's great.
Awesome.
It is our first day in the newly revamped den high atop my garage. So you get to say that, Zach. You got
Yeah.
that on your resume.
Oh, no, it looks great.
You're at the first ever new Den 2.0 or whatever
No,
we should call this.
Den 2.0, Den Max, Den Plus. It's great now, but I can tell you it's really going to be great on September 4th when we're watching the boys beat the Birds in Philly on open. This is going to – I'm going to
Yeah, we got a lot
my
more
F words.
room.
This is going to F on streams.
We got more room. Now, I have been informed by the guys, and Wire Will was out here too. Wire Will, gosh. Let's all hear it for Wire Will, folks.
I saw Wire Scott Friday night.
The amount of he's drilling holes in walls.
Oh.
He's you don't see it. It used to be wires were all over the floor here.
Yes.
It's because we started doing shows here during pandemic. Blake brought over some of his high school broadcasting equipment, and we used that, and it was great. Everyone else at the station was kind of using that clean feed thing.
Yeah.
And it sounded tinty and computery and would drop out. And
You're not in the same room.
but it was all
That's
free.
the main thing.
And you're not in the same room. It was free. But the equipment Blake had made us sound like we were in the studio, even if we weren't in the same room, whatever. It was beautiful because Blake was back at the studio. We were here. And it sounded like we were all together so we could do the illusion. The illusion that I love about the audio medium, that we can – you don't see any – that's why you like a phone call over a video call. You can't see you rolling your eyes or doing the dice or whatever. So but we started here back then in the pandemic. Then continued that once we started doing the podcast thing, not working for the ticket, and Blake set up some different stuff, and so we had a couple of systems. Then original Video Man Rob came in, and he laid down a bunch of stuff and did it, and then Clayton comes in, and then he did a bunch. So it was all these things built on each other, but I was finding giant cables that weren't attached to anything. They were just in the middle of the room. So we had to just clean everything out, sterilize it.
I love it. It's
Yeah.
another thing that we'd be like, boy, why don't we do this? Or why don't we do it this way? And then we'd be like, I don't know, we can't. And then now we're here, and we're like, why don't we do this? We can.
And we can.
And I
We're
like
doing it. And you know
And
what?
I really appreciate you guys doing it.
We
It's
do
very
have a
cool.
blank spot above your head for when
Not feeling that. I like that the daughters are not up there when I'm just yelling "F you, Nico." But
Yeah.
this looks like I'm in a deposition.
No. So I was thinking, I do have, up here you're allowed to do whatever you want.
Wow.
The Dirk poster could go there.
Okay.
The a Dumb Zone logo, wouldn't that be crazy? Game
Linda
Day
Carter
men's
just had a birthday.
Game Day Men's Health sign. Just a list of all of our great sponsors. I don't know.
Let's get crazy with it.
Let's go nuts.
I like it.
Let's maybe a little Burt Reynolds posing, laying on a bearskin rug. I don't know.
I love it. It's great work.
It is good times. Yeah. So thanks to Wire Will. His company is called Simplified Technology, and I was like, "Yeah, I was going to give you a plug," and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know. Okay, cool." Like he doesn't. I don't think he cares to advertise.
Yeah, some people,
Like
are,
he doesn't
are
even.
not looking to expand their business.
He doesn't even do so on his Twitter page.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't advertise his bit, but he's great. He's a fantastic electrician, and I want to let everybody know that. Speaking of Wire Will, this could be a weekend check. And what do we got on the list here? Let's give this weekend check to Community Mechanical, because Community Mechanical is our HVAC company.
They are our HVAC company. They've been to my house, Blake's house, Dan's house, and they've also been to Brandon Aubrey's house. They'll be sponsoring the Brandon Aubrey Show this year. CommunityDFW.com. You can text Travis at, what are you looking at me funny for?
You go ahead. I'm looking at him because I'm hearing in my ears.
Oh, I'm sorry.
As if it was like a radio broadcast from Slovenia we were trying to tune into on our... I got the two big giant dials.
I'm going to get back to this. CommunityDFW.com. You can call or text Travis, 469-667-7290. Came out to my house, installed what is known as a mini split, which means, hey, I need AC out here where I don't have AC. They got that done quick. And you could barely even tell it's there. Like it's embedded in the wall real nice. Just
like a good
smooth,
umpire.
clean. Yeah, exactly.
Like a good referee.
There you go. Good offensive
like
lineman.
a male NBA
which,
referee.
incidentally, Travis resembles. Not the – anyways.
Anyway, Community Mechanical.
They're good
What's their
peoples.
bit? What they got a number? Or you already gave it?
I already did.
All right. Well, then don't worry about it.
CommunityDFW.com.
Rewind.
If I find out that one of you got HVAC work done and it wasn't at least run by Travis, we're having problems. Weekend check.
Okay. Because I did go to Clemson to help my daughter move from one place to another. But before I left,
The dog is just working his hand. Like a Phillies-Yankees game.
I told you to push him away.
It's all right. He's good.
And again, we can put him down. No listener has yet taken us up on that, but that'd be
Gotta
a great
issue it
on-air
once
bit.
per show.
So before I left, right before I left, like the electricity went out. And, boy, this must have been like Tuesday night then. Because I haven't talked to you guys since. And my tolerance for anything that's different
Oh, yeah.
is now like,
Yeah.
I just feel like the pioneers that were traveling across the country and fighting off the Comanches and doing this and that, like dysentery or whatever. They did not have it as rough because they at least knew that was the deal.
Oh, okay.
I think complete
Signed up for
comfort
it.
and high-speed internet and everything at my fingertips when I want it, right now or later or whatever, is now
It's an
it's
expectation.
if you're getting divorced from your billionaire husband, you have a level of this is what you're used to.
Standard of living.
So to drop me down to still probably the best living you could do on Earth, just no electricity for a couple of hours, but somehow exponentially in my head, it's like I am a caveman. This is the worst thing ever, and I'm projecting out. Well, what if the everything in the fridge goes bad, or what if? And my neighbor's guy across the street, who built the new house across the street, been here within the last year. You guys know what I'm talking about. I hear something real loud over there. They're scoreboarding me. with their generator.
Oh,
So apparently, like
yeah.
when you build a house,
Yeah.
a lot of people just, hey, do the generator now because I know something's going to go wrong, and it's a lot easier than installing a generator. And anyway, I'm just looking over there, wishing I was nicer to the guy,
Yeah.
you know. Like,
He's doing a drone show over his house.
Oh, yeah,
powered
yeah.
by his generator.
they're just laughing. But
yeah.
so we get back. We were out. Oh, we were picking up food to go or something. I had to drop my wife's car off somewhere so she could just use my car while I'm away. And electricity's out. Garage door won't work. Okay. Well, luckily enough, we have the battery-operated pin pad thing. So I go around to the back door. Nothing. Unluckily enough, that thing ran out of battery months ago, and I would have never known because we just go in the big garage door.
Right.
Also, looking at that pin pad, it's a 4-digit number, which uses only 3 numbers. So it's like 1231, for example.
Okay.
But the 3 numbers, it's been on there for 5 years, so they're heavily worn. You know the 3 numbers. So I'm just saying, it makes it a slight bit easier to break into my house if you ever want to.
I was curious as to why you were shaking.
But it would still be very difficult. So give it a try.
And they'd have to deal with you.
So now I'm like, the dogs are inside. The electricity's off, and we have no way in.
Oh, no.
We have no way in. And my wife's like, we can just break this door down. And I'm like, really? Let's go through that. Like if it's TV, you run into it once, you run into it again, and the third time it'll knock down.
Yeah, you got a breach expert on your hands over
But-
here. Like, how's she?
But I'm me,
Yeah.
and I just know there's no way I'm breaking this door down. I'm like, I could just throw a rock through a window. It's like, well, don't do, so. And then I went over to the side of the garage, but it's up high. I could reach up to it, and I push up on the garage window, and it opens.
I was going to ask if you checked every window.
So I push up on the garage window, it opens, but it's kind of like a child back seat window. It opens like halfway. For some reason. Maybe it's to deter possible criminals or something. Usually it's locked, but I think I was just cleaning in there or something. It's unlocked. So it was very lucky. So we have a stepladder outside in the shed. We get that. I won't fit.
I was going to say, yeah, there's a teamwork.
So we had to shove her through.
God, that's beat.
And that's how we got in.
Dude.
Wire Will was like, look, I have a medium-sized generator. Like I told Wire Will, our electricity's out because he's our electrician. And he's like, I'll come over there and wire something up that I can at least keep your fridges and, something going on. And you're charging. Like he knew I didn't care about the the air conditioning as much as you could do all your charging.
Right.
I'm like, oh, yeah, okay. That sounds great.
And frankly, your wife as well, as long as she can find out what's happening in critical race theory and recipes.
Well, I went outside and sat in my car for like a half hour.
Never a bad idea.
Charging it up, enjoying the air conditioning. She didn't want to, so she's in here just being a martyr. And I'm just like, cool.
Yeah.
But anyway, then obviously it came back on. It's always an hour or two, whatever.
That doesn't happen to me that often. Actually,
no. Well, I'm on Tri-County Electric. It's a very small,
okay.
from what I can understand, a pretty small operation. And
You got your own grid.
it just feels like
Mine,
theirs goes out a lot.
mine goes out around weather seemingly a lot more than it used to, but I've never had the random power thing. But dude, you're in a totally different space when you have 2 kids in the heat. You gotta act fast on that.
Oh yeah, 2 little kids for sure.
It's funny though, you were talking like, oh, what are we gonna do? One, just the image of your wife halfway in and outside of your house. You should have taken a picture and roasted her with it forever.
Should saddle up behind it.
Don't think. You had to at least think about it.
Oh,
No,
yeah. No, I've seen that video.
And
You
then I
get stuck in the window and all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's like
Oh, no.
when your power goes out too, you were saying you go through all the scenarios, like what am I going to do about this? What am I going to do about that? It's like, why in all those scenarios am I immediately divorced? And I'm like on the run. Feels like it might be an overreach.
Also great, just as far as me and my weekend, and in fact the whole week, just knocking it out of the park with steps. We're averaging 10K, at least for the last couple weeks. I know for you, you're laughing. This is your every day.
I didn't even crack a smile.
I'm running 8 miles a day. I'm
was-
doing this. I'm on TRT. I got 10% off for life. I didn't realize at Game Day Men's Health. But came across an article where analyzing data from 57 studies that involved over 160,000 adults. Because a lot of people say 10,000 steps. You should get 10,000 steps. That's good for you. And that also seems like the 10,000-hour rule or just a lot of things. The 100 inning or 100 pitches. Like, did you really do any research if you're telling me you landed on 10,000?
Yeah, it's always been a bit of a question.
I don't think you did. I don't think you did research on what's the best pitch count to have. If you just landed on 100, it might be 122.
Look, a
It might be
significant
87.
amount of life is based on intervals of 5 for simplicity, I guess, but 1,000-yard rushers, 100 catches. These are things that make no sense.
Yeah.
they have no statistical significance. They don't help tell the story, but they do end in a 0 or a 5.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
about
anyway,
it.
researchers say, now it's another round number, so but they say walking 7,000 steps per day will lead to a reduced risk of several health issues. Death from, cardiovascular disease, 25%. Reduction, 7,000 steps a day. 6% reduction in cancer. Type 2 diabetes, 14%. Dementia, 38%. Depression, 22%. And it says falls, so this must be for olds, 28%. And I got to tell you, since I've been getting my 10,000, I have not fallen once.
Well, no, you fell 4 times, and last month you fell 5 times.
And it says here, right,
Because it's just a reduction.
right, it's a reduction.
And
in
a
falls.
counterintuitive reduction, because you would imagine that you're falling some walking, but I guess not. That's just Biden.
Right, if you're just sitting on a couch, you're
Right.
not falling.
0.
And this is the big one. 47% reduction. You just get 7,000 steps a day. 47% reduction in death from any cause. So you're able to outrun a knife-wielding madman.
Go shark diving, no cage.
Right. Just any
Go 3 times. You'll live.
any cause at all of death. You're
God,
reducing that by
statistics are so
nearly
stupid.
half.
Yeah, I mean, the crazy thing is while that is obviously ridiculously general, I believe it. Because you're conflating several other factors, right? If you walk, you're probably someone who eats a little bit better. You're probably someone who this and that and the third. And so it's true. I did just look this up, though.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's the problem, is that
Yeah.
you're looking for okay. The recommendation of walking 10,000 steps a day originated in Japan in the 1960s as part of a marketing campaign ahead of the 64 Tokyo Olympics.
There you go.
A pedometer company launched a device called I don't know, but it translates to 10,000 steps meter. This was not based on any scientific research, but was a catchy and easily memorable number intended to promote physical activity through their product. Later, idea gains global popularity. It's good baseline, but studies have shown fewer steps can yield significant health benefits.
There you go.
Especially once you're in that sauna. You add that in there. Whew.
I have been adding some. Clayton, what was your weekend like? Got any food updates for us?
I did have a pizza ruling I needed from Jake.
Hit me.
All right, so Domino's $9.99, any pizza, any toppings.
Carry out?
No.
They'll deliver that?
Yeah, they'll deliver that. I went medium. I know large should be the play. but I went medium and just doubled the toppings on everything.
Wow, this is a great debate. This is a great debate. You know what I'd really, really like in the fully quantified life? I know your daughter was like weighing food for a while, Dan, and I've had friends who have tried to do that and like count macros. I want it to where anything you eat, there's a meter, right? Just tell me how much it is. Calories, everything. Because the issue that Clayton is trying to solve here is if you were to take, what is it, a 12-inch pie as opposed to, let's say 16 or 14?
14.
If you were to just layer 6 toppings of meat, veggies, cheese, your choice, over that 12-inch, would you actually get more pizza, like calorie, fat, protein, than if you went like 2 toppings on a wider pizza?
Well, the wider's going to have a lot more crust and all that carbs, right? So.
It will, but it's spread out. Like you may actually be getting. Well, I mean, my question is, why didn't you just max out the large?
Because I just didn't want all the
Okay,
bread.
and that's the thing is if you want to cut the bread,
see?
yeah, you made the right call.
It's cutting back.
You made the right call.
Yeah, did one thin crust.
The Clayton diet.
with pepperoni and Canadian bacon, and then one hand tossed with hamburger and Italian sauce.
Where do you stand on breakfast bacon on pizza? Because that's my cheat code. People don't fuck with it much. Sorry, people don't say it, but use it much.
Are
it
we
has
worried
its
about
place.
profanity?
I'm
on-
trying. I'm
on
trying.
YouTube
actually.
or what?
No. I'm personally trying
It has its place.
on the show. I do breakfast bacon, sausage, pepperoni, thin, and that's what I did Friday night. I almost sent you a picture. It was 2 a.m.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Because my quick run through, Dan, is I went to Grady Spencer's show in Fort Worth Friday night, a song swap. I don't know if you've ever been to one of those, but it wasn't like the work were not working. It was Grady and 2 other like singer-songwriter guys, one from Oklahoma, one from Fort Worth. And it's 3 dudes up on stage, standing or on stools, and they play songs. 1, 2, 3, back around, telling stories. They hop on with each other's songs and, noodle around. It's cool.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, so I have a bit of a mystery on my hands. Friday, my kids were going to be staying elsewhere, and months ago I'd made a reservation at a restaurant with for my wife and I. Did I talk about the reservation on the show?
I don't think so.
I don't think I did either, but I knew I mentioned that I was going to Grady, but I made this reservation at this Italian restaurant in Oak Cliff like 3 months ago. It's really hard to get in. It's a small place. I just wanted to go forever. So made this. You got to pay $50. So the morning of, my wife is like, "Oh, I hear this Grady thing actually sounds pretty cool." And then I didn't tell her that we would have to pay $50 to cancel the dinner reservation. I said, "Which would you rather do?" She said, "Let's go see Grady." I never canceled the dinner reservation. They emailed me like 45 minutes into the show Friday and canceled it. But I didn't cancel it. I was intending to, and it's still a mystery to me. I've left message because I want my money back if this is the case, but I don't know. It's a very strange deal. But so we went to Grady's show and ran into a buddy of ours, Rylan Rowe, out there, and his wife. He of Mayor Pro Tem of Trophy Club.
Who?
Rylan.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And they've got scandal and controversy and all that sort of stuff in the news. It's fun to talk about or just hear about. Yeah, it was fantastic, man. Grady's the man. I don't know. It's such a great scene for his vibe. It was at the Post in Fort Worth. It was packed. It was sold out. Saw Wired Scott, brother of Wired Will. Great time.
I forgot to tell you, too. Quick hit, sorry for my weekend check. Back to it, because I flew to Atlanta, had to rent a truck to help her move her bed and all that, and then drove to Clemson. That's a 2-hour drive. The Atlanta highway, when you get on just outside the airport, you know how they can rename stretches of highway? They have the Tom Landry Highway if you
Sure.
drive to Arlington. The Atlanta Highway is the Jeff Foxworthy Highway.
That's awesome.
I just felt you needed to know that.
What was your take at the time of blue collar comedy tour, like when it was really popping.
Like Get Her Done?
As a guy who, yeah, but it was the whole thing, right? It was Get Her Done and Here's Your Sign and
It's I can't believe it exists, and well, whatever. I guess there's a market. A lot of people like country music too, and I do not. So,
yeah, a lot of
but
crossover there, I guess.
if
too.
you listen to some of that stuff, it's good.
I think Ron
like-
White has really great comedic talent.
Look, the Get Her Done guy does too. They all do. I mean, their timing, the way they do, it's actually good stuff.
Yeah,
But I'm too snobby. I need high toned. But listen to it and see how they're crafting it. They're playing characters. They're doing great. It's more high toned than you think.
yeah. I guess when I listen to Larry the Cable Guy, I find the character distracts me from what he's actually trying to do, and that's probably on me. I
Yeah.
should revisit that, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So Sunday I had an interesting bit. There's a new place up at Grandscape called Fritz's Adventures. You might have seen it when we were up there for the Dumb Zone generic summer event. I don't really know how to describe this other than it's a indoor like play place / adventure park. So it's got slides, but it's also got a lot of zip lining and like you can wear harnesses and do all sorts of cool, crazy stuff. So my wife has this thing of like we've got to leave the house. I happen to think we have a pool and there's an amusement park in our backyard.
Yeah.
There's no need to leave, but we got to leave. So we went out to this place. My kids are 6 and 2. My 2-year-old is barely tall enough to do anything there, but he is tall enough to do most of it. And 15 minutes in, it becomes clear this is just not for us. Like the kid's too small, really Carter to do any of it on his own. He just can't. Like you got to be able to pull yourself. And Nora's just like, this is not me. You just sit there. And I'm like, I'll write it out, but I'm hoping, you're hoping your wife will realize she made a mistake without you having to tell her.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
Everybody knows exactly what I'm saying. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
okay. I'm going to write this out. I already planned to be here an hour and a half. If it sucks, it sucks.
Yeah.
But about 15 minutes in, she goes, I think I'm going to go ask for a refund. And I was like, well, I mean, we can leave, we can stay, like if they want, whatever. And she came back like 3 minutes later. And she was like, yeah, let's go.
She got the refund, huh?
Yeah, she said they were like, of course, whatever. Like, we're not gonna, because like also in a weird like you'd have to see images of this, but the slide there's kind of almost like an industrial feel to it. The slides are not plastic; they're metal or steel, and they're like grated sort of, so your foot can get stuck in there if they're too small. And it quickly became obvious he's too small. And we told them that, and they were like, yeah, sure. They just
Did you do the too small celebration on him?
just walking over them. So we just said, all right, well, we're out on the way home. There's a place in Coppell, a Coppell Nature Preserve. If anybody's looking for cool hiking spots for kids, knock that out for an hour and a half, and I'm home in time to see the Rangers give me sweep sex, bitch.
It's all about killing time with the kids.
And see, I don't look at it that way. Like, and I'm not trying to be,
I mean, I enjoyed the time, but you're killing it. You're wanting them. You're entertaining every weekend. You're entertaining.
Yeah.
You have visitors from out of town in every weekend because it's your kids.
Yeah.
And you can't just sit in the house because I can just sit in the house.
And so could they.
Yeah,
Here's the thing.
they could and will, but
That's why-
you kind of don't want to say, all right, just sit on the electronics all weekend.
Yeah.
And Blake does that too, right? You're driving
Oh my, yeah, I'm
Brooks here and there.
taking him to Chuck E.
Hell, I saw
Cheese
Wire
and-
Will hit a picture of himself with his kid at that.
Cleveland baseball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One quick note that came up over the weekend that Rylan and I were talking about at Grady's show Friday night. This may not hit with Dan because you didn't grow up here, but do you guys remember thinking when you were younger that the lottery was going to solve education in the state of Texas? That was never marketed to you?
That was definitely the same thing in Ohio.
He and I both had that recollection.
That's how-
like, big time.
Yeah, there was a lot of people worried about why are we even doing this, the morality of it.
Yeah, and in Texas, you're like, whoa, that's...
But
And I wouldn't just.
Yes, you just it's the force field. Oh, it's education, and it's gonna And then then you send your kid to a good school, and they're doing car washes to raise more money. Like, why? Why are you doing this? And well, I guess the state doesn't give them enough money. Like,
It's just one of those things that I thought.
shouldn't the
Boy, that. I looked it up, and it's like, yeah, of course. It was fully a marketing campaign. Like, it contributes to the overall state budget in the way that every other revenue source does.
Yeah.
It would be like saying all these things contribute to 10 categories, but with the lottery saying it contributes to education,
right?
not the 9, is a complete ruse. And now there was a lot of talk this weekend about, like, gambling. Somebody posted something that got people talking about, like, we have a pandemic. Like, we have a societal ill now
Who could have seen it?
with, like, gambling addiction, and it got me thinking about the lottery when I was a kid. I don't think I have anything else too big.
Blake?
I kind of had a squared away weekend. Yard mowed, dishes done, laundry done, house swept and mopped.
You can't beat it.
Getting ready for, I guess, the baby or just, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Your wife is super, super pregnant.
You're
Yeah.
nesting.
Well, I saw her last week or whenever we were over here fixing this place up, and she's a very small lady,
Yeah.
which makes it even more like that baby makes it looks very uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you look at her from, like, behind, you'd think nothing, but then she turns this way, and it's just a ginormous belly. But, yeah, kind of a boring weekend. But I did talk to Angelo on the phone.
You're a homeless guy.
Yeah, my homeless guy, because he does the thing where I text him and he calls me.
Yeah, oh, God. I've been that guy for people, and I know I'm a beating. Like, I just have to explain it.
Which honestly kind of helps because he can't text. He can't get his thoughts into text form at all. And
I feel you, Angelo.
he and I wanted
Or he wants to do a thumbs up, but he needs it to be a thumb up with a glove and the thumb
No
sticking
no hole. Yeah, the cut off.
So somebody gave me the idea that rather than kind of out that I can see everything he buys, to just ask him is the $100 a month better for you so that you can buy other things. You know, I don't have to tell him I'm seeing every one of his purchases because then the cat is kind of out of the bag.
Because, like, the $32 purchase at the hardware store, not possible under the old
Right.
setup.
Yeah, and so his first
Unless you
purchase
saved it for a week.
with the $100 was
Come on.
$32 at Lowe's, and I kind of walked him into trying to get him to tell me what he bought.
Fantastic.
And he bought a portable charger because he said it charges his he said he has asthma, he's got diabetes, and he needs to charge some of his tools for those and his phone, which he's on all the time. So
Very
I
smart.
feel like that's kind of growth.
Yeah, very smart. I feel like you kind of just judged him for too much screen time, which is weird.
Yeah.
But
I'm
you're
aware
right.
of it.
That actually makes all the sense in the world. Again, TC and I interviewed a listener of ours who was homeless for a couple years, and he did reiterate, you've got to get a phone, and you reliably have to have it charged.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And then you add in, even the asthmas are USB now, huh? The inhalers?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess. And then maybe his monitors for his
Yeah, glucose.
which I'm not really sure how he has diabetes. He has like a really healthy diet.
It could be type 1.
As I'm typing in, so he lost his card again.
No, he lost the hundo card.
Well, I say lost. He says it was stolen, and he thinks he knows who did it.
Oh, God, we got beef.
Which
Street
is funny,
beef.
which I wanted to hear all about it. And so I had to buy him food over the weekend.
Did anybody use the card?
No.
Okay.
No.
So, okay, that's
don't-
good.
No, I mean, I lock it pretty quick.
Jones Bank fraud protection.
Well, but you also have to have a PIN since it's a debit card.
Okay.
So yeah, I had to buy him food over the weekend, and it's he likes McDonald's. There's a McDonald's downtown that he goes to.
Who doesn't? You're not going to beat it.
And like I've told you on the show, he gives me what he wants to order, and I will tell him what he's getting based off of the rewards I can get. And so
Such a dad.
there's a 30% off McNuggets. I did that, but then I saw that he wanted fries and a drink, and you get a free fry with the purchase of a large drink. But McDonald's locks you into the deals to where you can only use it one per
deal.
15 minutes.
Okay.
So I said, here are your McNuggets.
Jesus,
Wait
Blake.
15 minutes, and then you'll get your fries and drink. And he did.
Incredible. Incredible.
So yeah,
in today's trying to turn me into a Republican, I simply would like our hobos to have the wherewithal to not think they need soda.
no, it's
It's the most overpriced, like marked up
Oh, yeah.
product in society.
Such empty calories.
Just stay
It's
away
not
from
doing
that.
anything for you.
Nothing, dude.
Yeah. So there was $46 left on the card before he lost / got it stolen. And he asked me several times because there's no just he remembers what I told him. That's going to carry over, right? So next month I'll have 146. Yes. Okay, so the money rolls over, right? Like I'm going to have 146 next month? Yes. And so I'm very interested to see what he does with that. But whether it was lost or stolen, he did not spend at the rate that we thought he would.
Yeah, we're at the end of the month.
Yeah.
This is working.
Yeah. And he bought something besides tacos. He bought something he needed.
Or
That's
I mean,
wonderful.
it is. He's kind of shifted you to his long-term portfolio for like bigger purchases. Like he's got other guys to nickel and dime.
Sadly. Yeah.
Let's give some love to Qualis Roofing. They put the roof right here on this den of inequality, which sits high atop my garage. In fact, they replaced the entire roof. They're big-time early sponsors of the Dumb Zone. They've been great supporters, and from all accounts, Dumb Zone listeners have been great for Qualis. Like, everybody's happy. Everybody's winning.
That's a very fun or cool thing to hear when Qualis tells us, man, you guys have really solid listeners as customers. QualisGC.com, 817-500-9008. I've not met anyone at Qualis that was anything less than just super, super kind, genuine, and cordial. And I haven't met any listeners who've had a negative experience with them. So this one's pretty simple. If you need roof repair or getting on that preventative maintenance or getting your roof inspected, which your insurance company recommends, Qualis hook you up with that too. QualisGC.com. And when you do work with them, they'll deal with the insurance company.
Did you do roof, Blake?
I did. Yeah, they're out I was the first one in my neighborhood with a new roof because they handled everything for me quickly.
To our knowledge, you are not required to bow to them when they complete the roof work like some of the other services offered in Blake's neighborhood for roofing.
Yeah, or they will not code switch to you.
Correct.
You know, they will just give you a firm handshake and a see
Right.
you later.
Right.
From the wonderful world of sports, Radio Sports Scoreboard.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
I think the Cowboys are our big sports news. I'm fired up that we are going to training camp in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from today, we will do our first show out there.
Heck yeah.
We'll be there over the weekend, getting prepped up. So I'm sure our first show out there will be similar to this show here. We'll be like, ears, and then we'll get it settled about 5 minutes in. But Cowboys training camp, it's boring but not boring. Just the general idea of training camp is boring, and maybe that's where Jerry Jones is a genius, because Cowboys training camp is not boring. Because there's things going on, and it's all revolving around the next big contract, of course, and that's Micah Parsons. I'm sure that's all you did last week, or a lot of it, right?
Yeah,
like every
yeah.
day there's more Micah. Like, I couldn't believe – I'm so upset I wasn't doing the show because it's like, oh, my gosh. Micah and Trayvon are doing their own impromptu press conference on the field.
Just going live.
Just ripping Jerry.
Yeah.
And I tuned in to you for a little while, and you were like, it's so weird because, like, Jerry's 10 feet away from him doing his own thing, kind of probably saying stuff about Micah. And this is the whole – it's insane.
You know what it got me thinking is what would you be talking about if there wasn't Micah? I think you might be being a little more like, are we sure about this shoddy guy? How did we end up here? So I'm not saying it's intentional, but I just every offseason try to think like, okay, well, if we removed the thing that seems kind of pointless to talk about. Micah, whether it gets done now, it gets done next year, he's going to become the highest paid player. He's going to be a Cowboy for another contract. Whatever. But, like, what would we be talking about if Micah were signed in March like Oso Odigizua was?
Well, yeah, like what position battles, probably it'd be a lot more positivity. It'd be about George Pickens looks good, and how's he going to fit in, and I guess we got time for that, though.
Yeah.
This is more exciting.
I guess I'm just saying I think absent Micah, people might be maybe more critical of Shoddy.
Oh, I see, yeah.
But at the same time, we are all in honeymoon phase, so maybe not.
Right, no,
But
and another thing that's really –
I just think if the Steelers would have replaced Mike Tomlin with Brian Schottenheimer, they would have spent all camp talking about it. It doesn't matter what it's a big deal.
You're right. Yeah,
but
that's
now
a great
we're not
point.
even really
we are
focusing
focused
on
on
it.
Micah because it's like, whatever, this shoddy thing. Yes, that should be one of the biggest stories in the NFL.
The
that
Cowboys,
you hired
the most popular,
this guy that nobody's ever thought to hire before in this kind of a level.
The most popular brand
That's
in
a great
sports hired a guy no one else was going to hire, and it's like a tertiary story to camp.
Oh, by the way, so the thing you made, the audio product, the Hard Knocks bit, that was very good. Blake then laying video over it and putting it out on our Twitter this weekend, that thing is a chef's kiss. 10 of 10. Let's
give our hat tip to Henry
that
for
thing is,
helping us out.
Oh, did Henry help out on that too? That thing is awesome. I was talking to Blake about it this morning. It should catch fire. I don't know how it will. It's not going to get the due it deserves.
I want him to see it, and I want him to know, hey, I'm a fan. We're joking around, but listen, I'm in, bud. But I want Shoddy to see it.
It's incredible. But I heard Machota talking about Micah's contract, and it was right after the opening to camp press conference that we broke down. But we didn't really look at it in this way. When Jerry was talking about, remember his dancing around sometimes where you start isn't where they are, or maybe that was Steven. Where you start isn't where they are now, or Jerry hey, it doesn't always, it's always, Jerry was talking about projection.
I reread it this morning.
He was talking about projection, right?
Yeah, he's like, you ever think that those numbers aren't always what they say they're going to be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that is my old theory of the way they do things changes every time they do a new thing. They don't have a Steelers, this is the way we deal with a guy like Le'Veon Bell. And when Antonio Brown, you want to play Le'Veon Bell, that we've already showed you. That's the way we deal with all of them. Maybe we'll get a quarterback exception. Every team does kind of a quarterback exception. Bengals,
Yeah.
But otherwise, this is how we deal with. We don't do contracts ahead of time. We don't do this and that. But the Cowboys do it different every time. Now, every time they do cave in the end. So if you have a real top-notch player, top of his position in the NFL player, like Dak,
just use Zach Martin.
Zeke, like Zach Martin, same thing. They will end up caving. But the reason that Jerry is wary of Micah now is because they got bit in the ass with Dak. Because that was what they heard from Dak's people is, Dak is, okay, sure, it's top of the market now, but pretty soon he'll be the 5th highest paid quarterback, and then he'll be the 10th, and you won't think this is a bad deal. Well, after Dak, Josh Allen signed a deal for less than Dak.
Yeah.
And no one would, if you have Josh Allen, unless you're Nico Harrison, would trade Josh Allen for Dak. Josh Allen is the reason the Bills go. They've kind of proven, I don't need to put all-stars at every position around Josh Allen. He's Josh Allen. He's on that level of Mahomes. He's on the level of Lamar Jackson. I would say those are the only 3 guys, unless you can think of another one, on that level in the NFL right now.
No.
There's a higher level of quarterback.
Yeah. I mean, there's usually, I think 6, right? 3 and 3. But Burrow. Burrow's deal was done after.
Yeah. But, yeah, they're not at the level of Dak yet. Dak is still the highest paid contract. And that's the point.
You're right.
Where
That's
now,
all this is. I'm mad at myself for not thinking of this.
Yeah, me too. Because that's what he's looking at, and now that Micah's people who started at whatever 35 or 30, and then Max Crosby and Myles Garrett get signed after they had started the talks, and they're like, well, it's moved now, and that's where the Cowboys are like, whoa, wait, no, it's not necessarily have to go up. See how Josh Allen didn't, see how Burrow didn't. Well, Micah, the problem is those quarterbacks did take what's more of a quote team-friendly deal than Dak did for the Cowboys. And the weird thing is with the Cowboys and the way they do these deals, and this is going to match up with Jake Ferguson getting a deal, is that they always drag out the high-end contracts and get the little guys done kind of quickly at fair market value. The high-end guys, the problem with doing it like this is, like if Micah did hit the open market, he would get $40 million a year or whatever. He would get, like we saw it with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins was not a $30 million every dollar guaranteed guy at the time that he signed it, but when he became free, he was.
Of course.
To me, this is like I read some article which is talking about money management, which was basically saying if you clip coupons and you turn the light off when you leave the room to save electricity and blah, 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 you're wasting your time. Your real focus should be on the big things. What are you doing with your, the investments that you have, the money, the house that you buy, the car that you buy? That's where you really, the big things is where you really can make money or save money. The other things are just kind of like a waste of your time, but you feel good about it. So you sit and clip coupons, and you just saved $40 this week.
You return
add that
things.
up. Add that $40. Yeah, add that up all year, and you've now saved whatever $2,000. Whereas if you really were focusing on your big invest, you could have really made some money there. And that's where the Cowboys, look at these good deals. Look how I got Jake Ferguson done.
Yeah.
Well, hell yeah. Because if Jake Ferguson was totally free, yeah, he might get that deal. Like, he's not going to break that deal, though.
So the way that I wrote about the Ferguson thing this morning is pretty much what you're saying, although it had not occurred to me that clearly as much as Dak is mentioned by Jerry, and is this the first time this has happened in the last decade where somebody signed a contract and immediately was like, whoa, we don't want to go over that actually. But the way it seems to be, yes, if you're at a top of your position type player, they're going to wait to the very end, and then they're going to give you top of market value. If you're a middle type player, now it's been Trayvon, who I think became like the 7th or 8th highest paid corner. This deal makes Ferguson the 7th highest paid tight end. Osa's the 14th highest paid defensive tackle. Terrence Steele, who Jerry mentioned, certainly didn't break the bank. Jalen Smith is one that comes to mind as a guy who was, you remember when that would happen, it was the ultimate freaking performative because they were dealing with like Dak, Zeke, they were dealing with a lot, and then they're like, we have a contract extension. It's Jalen Smith,
Right? Nobody
and it's cheap. And we
cared,
were all
yeah.
like, well, I mean, he's okay.
didn't they
but
sign? Didn't Lau Collins that same offseason?
That
Or
sounds
same
right.
week,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. So if you're, and really this is not complicated, it's obvious. If there is some projection or a lot of projection involved in your contract, they don't really want to engage in it because that's risk. It just goes back to the thing of, as great as trading for George Pickens is, because there is some risk there, they don't like to engage in risk. And risk is involved in projection. So, yeah, sometimes you might be wrong. You may guess the number, and the number may be high. You may guess the number, and the player gets hurt, and there's risk there. There's zero risk, as you described, in making Jake Ferguson the 7th highest paid tight end. Like, it seems – I'll tell you what is odd to me about it. If you walk through the timeline. So, They drafted him, or Ferguson shows up in what, 22? And then in that offseason, they let Dalton Schultz walk. So Dalton Schultz leaves in that offseason and goes and plays in the Texans starting in 2023. And that's the year Jake Ferguson breaks out. Huge numbers. Really, he looked to me like Dalton Schultz. He just looked like a developed Dalton Schultz, leading you to think, hey, you can roll out of bed and get 60 and 700 as a tight end in this offense because Dak's going to get you. But then they drafted Luke Schoonmaker in the second round that year, which made me think, all right, that's a little weird because you just let a pretty good tight end walk who was productive after that got really sideways. Now, Dalton Schultz looks like he had an egg on his face at first because he had to take a 1 year to prove it, but he just signed a 3-year deal. He got his, right? That worked out for him. Dallas goes back to the drawing board with Luke Schoonmaker, and my thought is, all right, well, they're just going to throw bullets at this tight end position, but they don't see it as one that they have to really, like, throw a lot of resources at. You know, we got a second-round pick in here. We got Ferguson. Well, now you're just paying Jake Ferguson the exact same contract relative to the cap that you could have had with Dalton Schultz. And if you had just done that, you probably don't waste a second-round pick on Luke Schoonmaker in the process. Like, yeah, he's a couple years younger, Ferguson, than Schultz. But this just goes back to your point of, like, there's really no consistent thing here.
Right. If they had said, all right, we're going to let Jake Ferguson walk, because you said this when they let Dalton Schultz walk. You said the problem with Dalton Schultz is Dalton Schultz, in that you feel like you can draft another Dalton Schultz in the third round.
Right.
You don't really need to you don't have to pay a
guy
like that. He's not a game breaker. There are difference-making tight ends, kind of like quarterbacks, right? There's 3 guys, and you could argue at certain times who's the San Francisco tight end. You got Kelsey.
Yeah.
And there's
a new crop coming, but yeah.
There's always a few that really stand out, and they're really worthy. Otherwise, it's the running back position, certain positions.
And it felt like that's where the Cowboys were headed.
And I felt good about that.
Because
why not? Okay, you got to say you're paying these high-end stars. Okay, don't put $12 million at tight end.
Like, I think I'm on team. You've got to have a really good second wide receiver in the NFL. But I would concede that once you do not need like a top tier tight end.
Right.
You need a guy. You need to protect your quarterback.
But if you have a top tier tight end, you might not need that second wide receiver to have as much resources.
So, not only was Dalton Schultz the best argument for not bringing back Dalton Schultz, if you wanted to make that argument, the second best one was then Jake Ferguson was just also really good the year he replaced Dalton Schultz, and he was. What, a fourth? Hendershot was undrafted. Ferguson was, I think. The point is,
you can find him.
We just did it. Okay. Well,
you can find a 1,000-yard rusher.
Then they went.
You can't find a Barkley.
Then they went and took Schoonmaker, which I hated at the time, and I'm not even draft guy. I just hate bucking the big board by 48, 50 spots. It almost never works. And so they drafted Luke Schoonmaker that year after taking Mozzie in the first round, and it was like, well, he looks a lot like Dalton Schultz and Jake Ferguson to me. There was Dalton Kincaid, who went in the first round, who's a pass-catching threat more. Yeah. Sam Laporta, same type. Michael Mayer in the first round, more of a blocking type. They just drafted another guy who's very similar to Ferguson, which I guess, again, you could defend right up until the point they then also pay Jake Ferguson. Yeah. That's the thing that I have a hard time squaring. It just seems like there's a little bit of the money people and the scouting people seem to get crossways. But I am happy for Jake Ferguson. Guy finally gets a win in his life, Blake.
Well,
my wife asked me, I always judge this. This lets you know how out my wife was on the Cowboys, at least last year. She said, what are you writing Cowboys? I was like, well, they signed Jake Ferguson. She said, who is that? I said, they're tight end. And she goes, white guy? And I said, yeah. And she goes, hot? I said, yeah. And I showed her. And she's like, oh, it's the Cavender twin.
Yeah.
He's dating?
He's engaged to one of the Cavender twins. And here's a brief.
Are they in TCU?
I think they're out now. Florida? Miami?
They were TC, right?
Blake,
They
don't
were,
act like you don't
they
know.
were Miami. Then yeah, one of them came here, and then the Haley Van Lith thing threw everything off.
That's a different person. I'm just coming to understand.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a little bit from Dalton Schultz press conference. I didn't really preview
Dalton Schultz?
Excuse me, Jake Ferguson after he signed his deal.
I mean, I don't have a ceiling for myself.
Was the question how much better can you be?
You know, I just think about the same position coach, the football journey, and getting to this point. You know, it's money, but it also doesn't change things. I still have to prove everything. I still have to get out there in between the lines and work my tail off. And you know, the ultimate goal is winning
really
as
is
many
the whole
games as
question.
possible. How much better can you be? I mean, I don't have a ceiling for myself. I try to come in each day with one thing to work on.
Not
and
much. Really can't be that much better.
I'm pretty good right now.
You know, kind of kick ass. Like, can you do what I did?
You know, that's my focus that day. I try to stay where my feet are. Don't try to look too far in the future. Don't try to look too far in the past.
Your quarterback really kind of does become like an oracle or prophet or religious figure within your organization, where everybody all of a sudden is like, maybe Dude Perfect's not lame. Just starts acting like him. But listen, the dude can play. Like, here's my conclusion to the Jake Ferguson thing. You probably had to do it, because if Luke Schoonmaker hasn't really shown you much, and Dak's not feeling him, like, I don't think Dak was real thrilled that they let Schultz walk. And kind of like Luka with Lively, was like, kind of fell bass backwards into Ferguson. Luka was pissed that they didn't get a center that offseason. And then they got Lively. So I know Dak was not happy with losing Schultz, but here's Ferguson, and you cannot let him walk right now. They got about a 3-season window in my mind where they still have like a puncher's chance with the best weapons around Dak. Now, what's going to get interesting is next offseason when they tell you that the 3.5% or whatever it ends up being 2.5% of the cap that Jake Ferguson is taking is why they can't bring back George Pickens. And why Jalen Brooks is ready to take a big leap in his contract here as wide receiver too. And, you know,
that's the thing about George Pickens. You want him to ball out, but
dude, if
he does, he's going to command a $30 million a year contract, or 25.
I geeked out super hard on contract stuff last night, and his projections are over 30 right now.
Yeah, because spares are guys you would kind of think are kind of spares are getting that.
It's going to be that weird thing we talked about where baked into his numbers are like, yeah, but how much more could he have produced if he was a 1 for some team that's kind of dumb?
What do you think in fantasy, Blake? You going 2 wide receivers before you choose any other position?
I think you're doing this to make Jake mad, but
I
I
swear
I think you got to get your stud running back early, and then, I mean, there's tons of receivers you can grab.
All right.
Is Jahmyr Gibbs the first pick?
I'm just saying the fantasy does,
Reflect
one
it.
follows the other.
That's why I'm interested.
Yeah, so the NFL now is you got to have 2 wide receivers and maybe a running back.
Yeah, I think this is kind of what happened to tight end. I think the way you look at it, I always looked at it as like I got 5 guys, right? You always got 5 guys. Don't look at them as like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spots. It's like weight them, right? Like you don't need one. You need half a running back. You might need half of a wide receiver 3. So like let's stack that up as far as how you're going to use your resources. Just think of it as snaps played almost. I just don't think starting lineups don't mean anything, right? Personnel packages are way different. The thing I was looking at last night that is really just a reminder of how good I don't say how good players have it, but how unions have been successful. For example, on Oso Odighizuwa's rookie contract, he was being paid like $900,000 a year, something like that. And his current contract's going to pay him $20 million a year. There are websites that you can go to that will try to tie like PFF grades to contract valuation, kind of like they do with WAR and dollars in baseball.
Okay.
Where you try to say like, this is a 3-win player.
Per dollar spent,
this year, that's worth about $24 million. We paid him $16. That's $8 million surplus value from that player. And really what you realize is that everybody in the NFL other than quarterbacks is massively overpaid if they're not on a rookie deal. Because if you cap like the amount of let me put it to you like this. Like Osa was generating 11, 12, $13 million of value. Like crazy over 800 grand. But you have to pay 21 million a year to keep him. He hasn't generated that much and he never will. You know what I mean? Like the market is set up to, if you can make it to the second contract, we're all just acknowledging we're paying you because you got to this point. You cannot be viewed as a guy who's ever because the only players that generate commensurate value are quarterbacks, and you see this NBA, superstar players. So Jake Ferguson's overpaid, but you're paying us like you owe us for all the years you owed us. Thank you, Blake.
We have a new sponsor. Poncho. So it's shirts. I never knew much about Poncho. Did you know about these guys before?
I did, yes.
Okay. The shirts are sweet, dude. You know I love like lots of bits. These are the shirt. This is the shirt of bits. They have a little sunglass loop. Hold your sunglasses. A hidden zipper pocket. You can hide your phone or stash some money in there. Built into the fabric. 50-plus sun protection built into the fabric.
You're just walking out the door 50'd up with the SPF.
I'm going to wear these, on a neighborhood walk, bro. And a microfiber lens cloth sewn into the hem to keep you can keep your glasses clean. It's a lens cloth. It's SPF protection from this. What does this shirt not do?
Get wet. It wicks it away.
Whoa.
Because that's the thing for me. I'm a sweaty guy, and the world is now coming around to my vision here in 2025, where pretty much all the clothing you wear can keep you from getting sweaty. That's what I need. That's what I get with Poncho shirts. PonchoOutdoors.com/host will get you $10 off your first order. These things are super cool. And the outdoor shirt that's just cotton and stiff, and it shrinks and it fits weird, that's out. That's your dad's, your grandpa's game. So, like I said, the website is Poncho.
10% off your first order.
There you
$10,
go.
sorry.
At PonchoOutdoors.com/host.
By the way, so I'm reading the copy, and I always look for typos, and it seems like they had it. So, because they have what Clayton put on the screen, which is PonchoOutdoors.com/host, but it only had one O. So, Poncho, but not Poncho and then another outdoors. But in the copy, it says that's PONCHO outdoors.com. And I thought, ooh, I have noticed a typo. I can tell them that they have screwed this up. But first, I went to the website. I typed it in both ways, and they both will get you there.
Wow.
How about that? They'll pay for 2 URLs, bro.
Bases covered, just like they have with their shirts.
Yeah, whatever. I want to do a little today in Twitter because
The Dumb Zone presents Today in Twitter.
I have two things for you. One, I want to see if Establish the Run guy likes it. It's from Jamie Newberg. Jamie Newberg watching the game last night, and he's tweeting, and he's disgusted. And he put up this tweet. Can you put it up, Clayton? The Jamie Newberg tweet. I want Establish the Run guy to read this and think if he was watching the Ranger game, would he think the same thing? Newberg tweeted, maybe the crowd can hit pause on the wave and give Jack a standing ovation coming off the field.
Yeah. Very anti-wave. And, yeah, when your starting pitcher does something like that. Yeah, I hate the wave. The wave sucks. I won't let Brooks do the wave. Or
the
participate.
wave absolutely sucks.
I am pro-wave, and guess what I am? With 95% of the public, people are listening to me, cheering me right now. They are thinking of carrying me on their shoulders at some point. Somebody just yelled hip hip, and they're waiting for another guy to yell hooray.
Every now and then, Blake, we have to somehow remind him that the people are usually wrong. He tends to get it, but for some reason he has this blind spot.
So
the guy who also says, like, hey, I don't really need cheerleaders at my sports because I don't really need, I got the sports. What is the way? What am I doing? What are we doing with the wave? Calisthenics?
It's fun. It looks so cool.
It's fun to watch people play sports. I'm already there.
But it
fun,
looks so
check.
cool, that wave just going around. Like, how is that happening?
I don't know, dude. Like, I was
Kids
going to
love
say,
it. I
why not
love it.
bring in like frisbees and throw stuff around? But they do that too. So I guess, yeah, I would prefer they not have
I'm
any of that.
not letting Brooks
And-
do the waves.
and-
I'm
No.
calling Child
and
Protective
The
Services.
Jack Leiter thing that's a real issue. If you're doing the wave at the game yesterday after watching
Oh my
what he
gosh, he didn't get a standing ovation. He's
Bad
a
fan.
freaking how
Bad
old-
fan.
He's going to have a long career. Let's give him some time. How about once you could have a wave?
How about never? How about don't break the seal on the wave ever? Not a baseball town. I'm signing with the Angels. God told me to.
I forgot what my other today on
Family.
Twitter was. What's my other one, Clayton? Let's pop it up. I don't even know what it is.
I saw it in there earlier. What is it? I might. Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Oh, the Chargers.
Yeah, but we're on that wall now, aren't we?
So, yeah, people will send me. The Chargers announced a one-day contract. Isaac Rochelle?
I don't know if I know who this is.
I don't know who he is. And I don't know all the 53 of every team, But we're looking for back in the old days, did the study of all NBA retired numbers. We're able to put it in a machine and determine the worst retired number in the NBA based on statistics was Jim Loskatoff. Of the
Jungle
Boston
Jim.
Celtics, somewhere in the 50s or something. He was just white. And they were like, look, everybody else got their number retired. And the second worst was Brad Davis for the Mavericks, if you look at just stats. But now we have Isaac. Now we're looking for the worst ever one-day contract.
This has got to be it, man.
Yeah.
Who is he?
He only started 11 games in his career.
Dude, and think
What
about
did he
this.
play?
He's a
Defensive
pass
line.
rusher, yeah. Earlier just a couple weeks ago, they had Phillip Rivers, and it was a big video, and hey, I'm signing to retire, Charger legend. Now this guy's like, me too.
Okay, can I
Can I get some of that?
9 sacks?
I had a quick today in Twitter, which is it's less a today in Twitter and more a we're just not going to talk about the Luka Mentel thing.
70 career tackles. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all the rage.
What's the Luka thing?
You can see him all ripped on the cover of Men's Health. He's hot as hell. It's really unfortunate the way this is going to work
Is that
narrative-wise.
Game Day Men's Health magazine?
I can tell you this. Your only chance at looking like that is by going to Game Day Men's Health and getting 10% off TRT. That's your only shot.
Yeah. He does look ripped there.
So,
yeah. So what's going to happen?
This is the frustrating thing to me, is this article, which I've basically just skimmed. I can't do it.
I'll do it.
It does describe his workouts, but it's important to note Luka's been working out this whole time. There's a narrative around him, certainly, that he's not Kobe, he's not Jordan, like living in the gym, but the guy was coming over here to work out at Santa Barbara, P3 in Santa Barbara, like an elite training place when he was 17 years old. This is not. I just feel like treating
Is
him
that the
like
place
he's
that discovered his deceleration
Yeah.
was incredible? Okay.
Yeah. You see him working out every off season. You see him looking ripped every off season. It just seems like this thing of he's out of shape and it was a problem and his body's breaking down. It acts like 2023 didn't happen. Or whatever it was. Yeah, 23. He came back from injury, played almost the entire season, played through the finals after playing in the Olympics. Like, that's when he hired his body team. So the narrative should be he started getting this right the year they went to the finals. That's the year he brought in the guy that they're talking about in this article. That's the year he brought in his own nutrition people. But the way this is going to be written is that Serious Luka 2.0 started the day that he met LeBron and was inspired by the spirit of the Mamba. And it's bullshit. And we'll be the only ones saying it. Not we, but Mavs fans.
You know what I think is interesting? Because I know you had Machine on the other day, and you said at the end of the show, he said something about Luka's people or something. Like Luka's people they're looking for how to publicize Luka and use Luka right. Can you imagine the behind the scenes? Are people just calling Men's Health magazine saying, "How do I get my client on your cover?"
Oh well, there's it's a whole
And obviously,
PR
Luka's
game. Yeah.
top. That'd be an easy one. They'd go, "Okay, yeah, of course, we want Luka."
Yeah.
But I wonder how many other guys are trying to
Well,
get on there. Or,
it depends. I listened to the Adam Friedland show. Like, that show came back for a, quote, season 2 this year, and he's in 10 magazine interviews and on 10 other podcasts. And it occurred to me, like, oh, there's just a level you get to where you got a person, they're pitching you to all this stuff. And Lucas people knew that his body was going to be a story, so this is brilliant. This was done the second he got traded and called fat. You know what I mean? From a PR standpoint, it's like, really? Okay. We're going to rub your nose in this. And that's what he's going to do, it would appear.
yeah. And I think he was being called fat and stuff before. So it's not like this started that. I do think the natural progression of Luka, like you said, he had started this stuff before the trade. So that's the natural progression of a young player. And, there's not even a lot of sample size on 19-year-olds coming to the NBA, but that's the Dirk,
Yeah,
Hell,
buddy.
LeBron wasn't LeBron for year one. He was probably eating McDonald's,
I saw Bobby Caralla posting a video today of Dirk talking about, like, I think it was either 7 or 8 years in is when I didn't do it. I didn't even think about my diet until then.
When they did the Nash let him walk, it ended up saying, and even Nash, I think himself said, that was kind of a wake-up call, and he actually started to dedicate, more to just his craft and his body and all that kind of stuff. But I also think that, in a way, would have naturally happened, maybe a little later, but it would have happened. All these athletes, they go through the same thing. And that's why I hate that in the end it is going to be, he got with LeBron and LeBron taught him. Or what I really don't want is, Nico trading him is what inspired him to do this. So you kind of thank
Give
Nico.
some credit, yeah.
Like I don't want
Like,
Nico
is that a Jerry,
Harrison to ever have credit for this guy actually turning into who we thought he was going to turn into anyway.
Right.
Which he already is. That's the
It's
thing
already
about
happened.
Luka.
Yeah.
It's not like
He's there already.
It's not like you have to say, my gosh, the projections on this Luka kid.
Why'd you give up
Can you
before he
imagine?
made it? No,
Yeah.
he made it.
He was already there. He was already kind of further than any other player his age, except for 3 players. Ever. Not like 3 now in the NBA, like 3 ever.
I have
Although
one
of them
more.
is now in the NBA.
I have one more quick today in Twitter. I sort of predicted this last week, but a listener sent me. So you were gone when Hulk Hogan died, and we were kicking around how
A lot
wild
of death. Who do we have? We had
Ozzy.
Yeah.
Ozzy, Hulk Hogan, and then the Cosby
Yeah, the oldest son from the Cosbys.
That's right.
son.
I
Yeah.
don't recall his name.
I just saw Malcolm
Huxtable.
Jamal Warner. I
Yeah.
saw him in episode, is it 2 or 3, of my new show that I'm plowing through, The Detroiters.
Oh, dude, yeah. I've tried to put you on it before, but that's okay.
That's a great show.
It really is. It makes me feel good.
And I also heard you last week, so
Also-
I tuned in sporadically.
Now you know why I like making those jingles.
Yeah.
They're so bad.
So I heard you last week. I said I would jump in sporadically.
Uh-huh.
Love that. I do love the subscriber able to watch the show live on YouTube.
Yeah, dude.
On,
I mean,
Tuesday and Thursday.
I forget about it.
Or Tuesday and Friday.
But Grady was screen printing shirts for his show Friday night, watching the video.
Yeah.
I forget.
But you were saying you've been plowing through old sketch shows?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Okay, so Why Does Kid You Know? You're saying not
yet.
Where it's living up to your memory.
Not yet. So listen, the first sketch of the show is HITLER.
You're gonna,
and it's great.
That's a high bar.
But there's
Human
from there-
Giant, as I recall, was great.
God, it's so good. I've kept going.
And
It
one
rips.
thing I've been looking for since it was on. Do you know what I'm going to say?
Children's Hospital.
That I think that's
Children's
not a sketch show.
Not sketch, but
I've been looking for Doggy Fizzle Televizzle
Oh, yeah.
ever since it aired because my memory is that was great. Like it was so much, but maybe my bar for Snoop being able to pull off a comedy sketch show was pretty low. But as I recall, just anyway, if there's ever
No, and I recall it being hard
I
to
wonder
find.
if Jason from the internet has Doggy Fizzle Televizzle. If anyone does, he does.
Yeah.
And he'll tell me within 5 minutes because he's on the internet.
Well, so the Hulk Hogan news, he died. We were talking about his funeral because, as recently as like a year ago, the guy is like up in front of the country, hyping up the president. He's back in good graces. He was on the 700 Club. Like we did that. He was back in the limelight,
One of the things that was back.
Very much so.
He was selling his beer.
Oh, that's right. He did start doing beer. What's his funeral going to be like? Will Trump be there? Will it be a wrestling, will it be crazy? Will guys be up there like, I remember when I was fighting in Madison Square Garden? Like, what was Hulk Hogan's death like?
It has to be.
And it turns out Radar Online is reporting that the family is actually having some debate and fight over this with his daughter, the one who was dating Free Reign's Phil Costa, opting for a more traditional, formal funeral. One would have to believe that would include the formal do-rag that he wore in court, his black do-rag, while his son, Nick, wants him in the red and yellow.
Yeah.
Like, wants him, full Hulkamania Hulk.
You got to Hulk it up.
And
you can't Terry whatever his name is.
Terry Bollea, several conservative commentators on social media have been messaging the president. Here's one. Mr. President, at real Donald Trump, please give Hulk Hogan a state funeral. We must honor our legends in the same way the radical left honored disgraced criminal George Floyd. So apparently you could do state funerals. You don't have to be like a war hero. But I don't know. Let's look up the list here. It would be awesome, right?
I got to have a party funeral, dude.
Sandra Day O'Connor. God, these are all.
I want Chips there.
There's no way
Maybe
George Floyd got a state funeral.
Yokiro.
Oh, dude, I'll hook you up.
Sushi.
Oh,
what if you guys ate sushi off of my naked
That's
body?
what it is. There it is, right there. It's the funeral.
All right, quick sponsor plug before we take a break. Also, so the plan is here to do the show, and after we're done doing everything, we had booked Kyle Gibson because he's signing a one-day contract with us. He is retired. And he's been on a lot of other podcasts and radio shows since then, but he's going to make this his final podcast and radio show. Anyway, he's going to be on the show. We booked him for now, but he bumped it an hour. So he'll be on at 2 if you're listening live. But if you're listening via Memorex later on. That's a sweet reference, right? Yeah. Kick ass?
Oh yeah, the production world's loving it.
Okay. Anyway, he'll be kind of at the end of the show, so you can stick around to the end to hear Kyle Gibson. But let's love on Early Bird CBD. That's the CBD with THC. That is why we are on board with it. That is also why we are not fully aware of if it's going to be available here in Texas in the long run, but it is now, bro.
And that's why if you've ordered before using our promo code, we have a new one. The stock up promo code. It is DZ20 at earlybirdcbd.com. That'll get you 20% off plus free shipping. I can tell you what Early Bird goes well with: a song swap. Cheese pizza.
Did you have a perfect amount to feel a mild buzz without being overwhelming?
It was perfect. Perfect is the only way to describe it. Well, that intuitively, that's where I was. Earlybirdcbd.com. DZ20, 20% off. This is the good stuff. They also taste really good. If you're, just looking for a little snack.
If you like things that taste good in your mouth,
they can hook you up at earlybirdcbd.com.
All right.
The Dumb Zone.
I just got rear-ended. Should I call the insurance company?
It's always best to talk to us before dealing with the insurance company.
Okay, but I don't think I can afford a lawyer.
Don't worry. You don't pay us anything up front. No hidden fees, no surprises.
Oh, thank you. I feel so overwhelmed right now.
Before you call the insurance company, call Frankel first. Frankel and Frankel. Call 214 or 817 all threes.
You're listening to The Dumb Zone.
We like to promote a couple things in this little spot.
Why?
Like DZTV.
It's in my head.
Which is on... What channel are we on these days?
More 27, baby Bubba.
More 27. And
KDFY.
regular Fox. Fox 4 as well on Sunday nights.
And then he does the... Why?
It is the...
But we want to promote also, we do have that Brandon Aubrey show this year. Every week, you can hear your favorite kicker, who is up for a contract. This is his contract year. Maybe they'll get him done early. Wouldn't that be nice? What are we doing Jake Ferguson for?
Dude, listen.
Exactly. Brandon Aubrey, bro.
I'm old enough to remember when they signed Dan Bailey to a 7-year contract.
Let's go.
So it's not out of the realm of possibility. I think he saw 2 of those years, but it does happen.
You think he'd take us to dinner?
I would like to take him to dinner on the company dime. By the way, that chart I was telling you guys about, just looking at like value created by players and then like their cap hit. You know, you can look here, for example, like value over cash. Number 1 last year. Anybody want to take a guess? Think rookie quarterbacks. And you'll get
Daniels.
There. Number 2.
Bo Nix?
Correct. Like if you're a quarterback, you're creating that value. As far as like value created, Dak Prescott, let's do 2023 because he was, healthy. He created a solid $42 million in value. But the fact that his cap hit was $82 million, or his cash paid, made him the largest upside down player in the league that year.
Well, he had to be the opposite his rookie year.
And that was his near MVP year?
Yeah.
So like the top that he could possibly play.
Correct.
I wonder if we add all the things
He was actually
together.
the biggest draw on a roster.
So do you go with cash that year, or do you go
You should
cap
do it.
hit?
You should do cap hit over. But, I mean, you're for that year, what you're using towards that player.
Like, because
that's why you don't want to get in that situation.
But if he was giving you $30 million of value when he was making $900,000,
which is why, as I think I've told you guys,
add all these years together. So that's what his agent is doing, saying, "Look, you're back paying him here."
They're doing that even if they're Micah, even if it's a first-round player, because there's still Micah's
there was still more value,
15, 16 million in value, making 5. But yeah, it's
well
it's not a spot you.
The reason I brought up Brandon Aubrey doing a show, and we have a show song contest. So we're throwing it out there that if you, I guess it could be AI, but if you have your own, band or own setup or something, whatever, we're looking for a Brandon Aubrey theme show, or a Brandon Aubrey show theme song that we could play when Brandon Aubrey starts every week. Now, it's brought to us by Community Mechanical, and Community Mechanical is throwing in Cowboy tickets for the winner. He'll let you pick any game, and he'll work with you on getting you some good seats to a Cowboy game. So that is the hook. If you would like to get on that, thedumbzone@gmail.com is where you send it. We've gotten a few entries already. They trickled in last week. But we'd like to, we'll do it on the air. We'll play the songs. We'll thumb up or thumb down them. You kind of gave some parameters last week, which we should give again because someone did give us like a really good 3-minute Brandon Aubrey song. That's not going to win. We already know that one is in last place so far.
Yeah, go back to the drawing board on the arrangements and just short it down.
If you were listening to Brandon Aubrey show, do you want to hear 3 minutes before Brandon Aubrey, or you want to kind of get to Brandon Aubrey?
Probably needs to be able for speakers to start speaking at 20 seconds.
If you want to work Community Mechanical into it. he's on board with them as well. So
there you go.
So there you go. Let's do the news, and it'll be brought to you by Frankel and Frankel.
Jake with the
There are
Dumb
personal injury
Zone
attorneys.
News.
If you find yourself in a news story because you've been run over by a semi, well, call Frankel and Frankel at 214 or 817, and then all threes. They will fight those insurance companies for you. They stand up for the little guy. It is Frankel and Frankel, personal injury attorneys. And when you call them, so you're like you're pinned under a
forklift. Is that something
vehicle?
You can't get
Sure.
pinned under a forklift?
I don't know. Whatever. You're pinned under something.
A big old gal. Yes.
You call
big
Frankel
fella.
and Frankel, a big old fella, and then you tell them, you can barely speak because you can't even get air flowing out. But you're telling them that you heard about them on the Dumb Zone. I want Dumb Zone to be your last words.
All right. People were texting me last night saying, "Hey, did you hear Deion Sanders has a live? He's gonna have a press conference tomorrow, and like it's being carried live on the news locally."
What?
Yeah. Like, what's
Why?
this about? Now,
locally Dallas?
Yeah. Now I will give my buddy David Ruff a podcast hat tip for this one. I think Dan would enjoy it. He simply replied, "Does anybody know when it is?" And before we could reply, said, "My guess is prime time." I feel like that's both the worst and. So Deion gets up there and he's talking today. He's wearing overalls. He's wearing a cowboy hat. He's wearing sunglasses. He's normal, outgoing-looking Deion. And he announces that he had bladder cancer. Let's see if this will play from my YouTube, Blake. I'm not sure if it will or not.
Let's kind of give them, let's walk them through. Can we do that? Is that okay with you all?
It's 2 minutes, so let's go with them here.
Let's go, Law.
Okay, so as you guys know, Coach has his other health issues, his vascular stuff. So every year, Coach goes for...
So that's when they tried to cut his foot off.
Yeah,
and
he had a little stump.
And then we saw him shortly after that, and I was very worried about him. Super nice guy, but he didn't seem like the Deion we see now.
A CT scan of his vascular pattern to make sure, the blood clots are away.
Blah, 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 blah.
So
Let's go to Deion.
We removed the tumor. It was very high grade, invading through the bladder wall, not into the muscle layer, something we call very high risk, non-muscle invasive bladder cancer. So we did discuss options.
All right, there's not that much him in here. I'm wondering why he needed to have a press conference for this, now that I know what it is. He was at Big 12 Media Days in Frisco earlier this month, but he had been away from the team earlier this summer, according to some reports. So he had a pretty aggressive form of bladder cancer. They have removed his bladder and built him a new bladder from his intestines.
Cool.
What norm is that?
Wow. Wonder if they made it bigger. Hey, can you ask him? Like getting a boob job? Can you
Yeah, just give me a little more.
Give me a little
like
more,
a
dude.
camel.
I'm getting up at night.
For sure. This part, not in the audio I had, but apparently Deion said, "I depend on depend. I cannot control my bladder." So you got
Funny.
a college football coach.
So he's sitting there wearing diapers all the time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That might be better. Then you don't have to worry about it. It's just like you drink and then all of a sudden it's out.
I mean,
It's
especially
like a
as a
cartoon.
football coach, right?
Yeah.
Just one less thing to worry about. Who's going to hit that market efficiency? Just shitting in their pants.
Joe Pa.
Yeah, he probably would. Yeah.
I'm interested in Colorado. I can't believe he's
Dude,
still there.
Me too. I wanted to go. They're in Houston on a Friday night early in the season, but I think we have maybe something else going on. But I love it.
Are they still getting top recruits?
Yeah, I think their transfer ranking was good, right, Blake?
Yeah, and they got a pretty good quarterback in the portal, Caden Salter from Liberty.
Oh, okay. I remember that name.
Cedar Hill?
I remember
He's around
the
here somewhere.
name. Yeah, it's a decent little. Yeah, they're ranked 19th currently in the country in transfers. So, I mean, they're going to keep competing. And again, dude, the way that the playoff, whatever setup the playoff has, a team like Colorado has a way better chance than they did 5 years ago. Whether you're whatever conference you're in, they got a shot. They have a shot to play a relatively weak schedule and end up in the playoff. We had an inmate die in Dallas County at Parkland Hospital. This happened a couple weeks ago. You had a 21-year-old woman who dies at Parkland after she was found in medical distress.
Was she on mug shotties?
I love
Stop
that
knowing what that is.
I love it.
Why? Don't you love it?
I kind of do.
Yeah. They're all hot.
I kind of do.
All arrested.
And I'll tell you why I like it. Because when I see them, I check the replies, and almost no one acts like a fucking baby about it. Like, because whoever's in that, they could have seriously hurt somebody, right? It'll be like a drunk driving charge. You got like a 9 up there, and everybody's like, drunk drive me into a ditch or something.
Yeah.
None of the replies are like, can we think about the actual damage this person did? And I love, like, that shows me society still has a chance.
See, drunk shotties are the wave.
Yeah.
Just love it.
It's always like, let's hear her out.
Let's hear her out, yeah. Nobody. Everybody from Hillary voters to the MAGA guys are like, I don't know, dude.
It's
like,
assault with a
chill
deadly
out.
weapon. I'm sure she had reason.
Look.
Yeah. I see 2 deadly weapons up front there. So this woman dies in Dallas County Jail, 21 years old. She was experiencing medical distress. They discovered that she had overdosed on fentanyl. Now, where did she get this fentanyl?
What color was
From
it?
From a 26-year-old inmate who was arrested and charged with murder. This inmate had muled in her body cavity, undisclosed cavity.
Could be the ear.
The Fenty, meth, and Xanax, and she had shared the substances with 3 other inmates before they were all found unresponsive.
They're all dead?
No.
Or just the one
Only
died?
she is dead.
Even the person that muled it, is she unresponsive?
No.
Oh, okay.
We have 1 dead person. It is a person.
No, but I mean,
yeah.
They're all unresponsive.
They don't really report on the accused state.
Because, like, if it almost seems like a mistake here.
Yeah.
To be charging her with murder.
Well, they wouldn't charge her with murder if it was a mistake. Although, if you're in jail, they're probably not assuming. Like, it's just everything is like, you probably meant to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a fun quote here from John Wiley Price. I'm going to try to play it for you because she got through the X-ray scanner without the drugs being detected.
Without the drugs being detected.
I want to say hopefully it's a one-off, but we're not going to check every cavity. You know, we can't. But the officers know what to do.
Commissioner,
he's like, listen, they got cavities. We can't check them all. But like,
yeah,
kind of can't you?
They do check the bottom, but how deep in there do they check?
Well, I have a question that I don't know the answer to, and quick scan, none of us do.
Because it seems like the lady's front cavity is there's a lot more in there.
Once you get there.
Yeah, you can get it.
Way down there, but once you get there.
Yeah.
But so when you go into like jail or HAB or whatever, you hold your balls but you cough and squat. Because like, when you cough, it kind of like pushes your whole thing down there.
Okay. That's why you cough, huh?
When women cough, does it not push their front bottom?
Do a little Kegel?
Yeah.
Kegel?
Like if they coughed, would it push? Like I'm trying to say,
you
is
see
there a
some
way
movement?
for them to scan the cavity without finger blasting them?
You have to check this out tonight. Do some research. Honey, I got to do research tonight.
Well, she
pants off.
It sounds to me
it's
like
for the show.
Yeah.
This isn't for me.
That's why I have this fentanyl.
Yeah, put the clothespin on your nose and get down there.
I don't know.
Goggles.
I would think she's the
Do
one.
you guys wear goggles when you go down there? Like the snorkel. I'd put on the whole snorkel outfit.
I have to use my meta glasses to remind me how to do it. It puts up a little diagram. And I like live by that. Yeah.
Searching for it's like the Star Wars tracker, and it locks onto it. Okay, there you are.
Yeah. Broad daylight shooting on Maple Avenue in Dallas.
We call them women.
Yeah. 43-year-old Robert Simmons was arrested. Had a 44-year-old man shot and killed. And it's like down the street from the old station. It was at 4400 Maple.
Oh, wow.
2:30 in the afternoon.
Well, it's easier to see then. You want to do your shooting during the daylight, you would think.
The accused kind of looks homeless. And I'll be honest with you. I have an antennae up for the name Angelo in stories now.
Dude, what if he got arrested?
I would love
and then asked Blake to bail him out.
I honestly, I think it's not. First of all, that's
would you visit him in
happen.
jail?
No.
Would you mule him cigarettes?
You would bail him out of jail.
I might bail him out. I'm not going to go visit him.
Like Randy Galloway did Quincy.
Calls him in for a character witness.
Yeah. Your client D'Angelo, I know, or Your Honor. No?
I mean, it depends. I was trying to think, like, what if he's trying to pull off this grand heist? Or, like, I don't know.
But he's actually this mastermind.
Right.
He's been playing you this
What
whole time.
if he is an academic?
And he's just doing a research project here?
Reverse study on
me.
me.
Yeah. He's like Marshall Henderson.
You think there's a good chance of that?
Social experiment.
Like, did you hear a click on the other end? Was he recording your phone call? It'll be in the documentary?
Maybe. If he is, he's doing a wonderful job of acting.
What's that movie with Edward Norton?
Oh, Primal Fear.
At the end, Richard Gere. That'll be the end of the movie.
I'm throwing one image in the Day of Air folder, Clayton.
How does it end?
Just came across the
Does he kill me?
Newswire.
No, Richard Gere gets him off. He was like mentally disabled.
Gerbil?
Yeah,
No. Richard Gere got off because of the rat and gerbil. But speaking of cavities that you can hide things in. But so he was like a mentally disabled guy. That was it murder, rape, something? He was charged with something. Murder.
Yeah, it was murder.
And then at the end, like he kind of told him he had been acting the whole time. He had a stutter, and he's like, and he looked real sympathetic and like this kind of just a mentally disabled guy. But he wasn't mentally disabled at all, Blake. He was just playing one so he could get out of this murder rap, which Richard Gere did for him.
Isn't that like...
He balled him up like a little gerbil and stuffed him right up his bottom.
Isn't that like Benchwarmers or your favorite movie where they pretend to be mentally disabled to make fun of those with such afflictions?
No, I'm a big fan of Champions.
Woody Harrelson's movie.
Where Woody Harrelson coaches a basketball team.
Of what?
Kids with Down syndrome. Yeah.
Then they get a ringer?
That's the ringer with John Knoxville.
They did not get someone pretending to have Down syndrome?
No, it's just a movie about Woody Harrelson coaching kids with Down.
Oh, and you think that's funny?
That's all he needs.
Am I the only one?
So the guys who were arrested that looked homeless. Just one quick ending to that story. The story did note that the guy was arrested at a nearby restaurant, and they gave the arrest, and it was a Jack in a Box on Maple. And I feel like, no disrespect, love your food, but that's got to be the most beaten chain to be arrested at. It's got to be. Let's see here. There's one more I wanted to do before we got out of here. Where'd it go? Oh, the thing I just put in there, Clayton.
Thought you had like a big thing.
I do have a big thing. We're going to do that last. We have a new Roseanne. This woman, 57 years old.
Don't you have to be famous to be a Roseanne?
Yeah, probably. But this is just the type. I'm putting this up here because I needed to see the photo after it was described as barricading herself in a truck, and I was like, "What? A lady? Let's see the okay." 57-year-old woman in Hutchins, Texas. No. Was taken into custody last night.
Let's not hear her out.
No.
Guilty.
Deputies respond to a shooting call. They find a 47-year-old guy there dead at the scene. She barricaded herself in her semi for 4.5 hours. Now tell me, does any of this shock you?
Like she lives in a semi?
I guess she was a driver. Damn, man, you don't want to get into a scene with a woman who knows how to even drive a semi. I mean,
Large Marge. We all know Large Marge, of course, from?
I know the reference. Now, go.
Pee Wee Herman.
There you go.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yeah.
Which is better than any of going to Africa or camp or
getting scared. All right, we're going to call this next little bit here.
The Africa was good, though.
We're going to call this next little bit News Junior, okay? If you were to go to a website like Who Represents Me or myrep.com or something, Dan, and you were to type in the address for where we are right now, there would be a man who would show up as your state representative named Giovanni Capriglione.
Hey!
If I were to go to his website, I would see Giovanni Capriglione.
This is my state rep.
As your state representative, I am protecting innocent life, cutting wasteful spending, and defending our shared conservative values. His number one issue, a pro-life leader with a 100% pro-life voting record. He voted defund Planned Parenthood, authorized and passed numerous pro-life bills, including the pro-life abortion trigger ban bill. So, pretty standard issue, evangelical, uppity white suburb politician. Not out of the ordinary, but it is important to remember that he's a guy who really wants you to know about the moral part of his leadership. He's not just a Republican. He's one who's going to make sure you never forget the moral piece. Well, over the weekend, he had to admit that he had been having an affair for 17 years.
Whoa.
Now, he had to admit
this. Is he married and stuff?
He is married, and he had to admit this affair.
Can you imagine a 17-year affair, though? That's something.
After a website called Current Revolt, which was established back in 2020. It describes itself as covering Texas political news. I am now a subscriber for the purposes of getting this interview. It says here, dedicated to delivering fact-based news, covering a wide range of political events, blah, blah, blah. There's no real tell to a ideological bent here, but it does seem like they align with the right. Like they have some pro-ICE stuff here. Like, I believe they're Republicans who are either attacking him by saying he's too right, or they just want this guy out of office. Because when he admitted the affair over the weekend, he announced that he will not be seeking re-election when he is able to do so in about 1.5 years. Efforts that would probably have started here pretty quickly. He will not be seeking re-election. So, why? What is the report? Why? What all is in this report? Well, this woman, her name is Alex Grace. She did about a half-hour interview. She's my age, 39, 40 years old, and she's hot. She looks like a South Lake mom. She looks exactly like a hot South Lake mom. And she shares her past with him. Now, before she did that, I want you to hear how she introduces herself as far as what she does these days.
So first and foremost, I'm a mother to 4 beautiful children, so that naturally takes up most of my time. But in my spare time these days, I am a political news curator.
A political news curator.
You like that, Clayton?
What does that mean?
Okay, so you follow the news very closely, and then you curate that for an audience.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
She retweets stuff.
Yeah. No, she's just got it's what if you are a hot woman now, as we've been telling our friend KJ, they got a lot of hot women. They don't have that many black guys. But if you're a hot and you just get up there and rant about 5 news items a day, apparently there's a market. And you've got a newsletter and on down the line, right? So that's what she does. I think that part's important to let you know she's in the game. She's in the politics game. She's having an affair with a politician, and she's interested in the news type thing.
When did you first meet this state rep?
So I met him when I began my journey in exotic dancing. I was
journey.
That's right, folks.
That's a journey.
That's right. Again, this guy's 52. He's been in office since 2013, so he's 52 now, born in 73. She graduated in 04, was 18. So they're about 13 years apart, 12 years apart. Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay. So they met on her journey. We'll jump back in.
In exotic dancing. I was 18 at the time. I had a young child.
Sorry to interrupt. You were above 18 or you were 18?
I was 18.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And you had a child, you said?
I had a young child, and so I did what any other mother would need to do.
Okay, yeah, they clearly made an edit there, but
yeah.
I mean, not any, but I don't fault you, like whatever, but I don't know that you all. She was asked how they met, and that has an interesting story.
When did you first meet this state rep?
So I met him when I began my journey in exotic dancing.
Sorry.
I was 18 at the time.
That keep playing this one.
Was he like a regular? Is this sometime he just like stopped in once or twice, or?
So I met him upon his very first time. He caught my attention because it was a Monday during lunch.
Wow. That ain't your first time, bro.
It was his first time meeting her.
Oh, I thought she was saying it was his very first time frequenting that club.
No, I think just the first time.
Because if you're going to a strip club Monday at lunch, you go to it a lot.
So as you can imagine, there weren't very many other people there, and what drew my attention to him was the very professional button-down shirt, the slacks, the whole charade.
Yeah, so they get to know each other a little bit after he's coming in, and then she says they developed a one-on-one relationship where she had an email address and a phone number. They would communicate. They would have meetups. They started hooking up at hotels, and they were like in a relationship.
And for 17 years.
We'll get to that.
Okay, it's great.
But so she said it started out like monthly, and then it was like he got into politics. He was more worried. It would, maybe every 6 months, every 4 months. She said that she would get worried. But they were like together, you know what I mean? It wasn't just, I'm not trying to say like this is right what he was doing or anything, but they were in a relationship sort of thing.
Yeah.
And he was also, the line between this and prostitution is nothing to me because he was paying her every time they met up. Like, gifts and cash and.
Rent?
Well.
Mida?
She says cash, so who knows?
Use it for
but this part. Honestly,
which is not very right-leaning to just give her cash and let her do what she wants with. You need to earmark that
means
for
test it. Yeah. That's a great point. But this next part is how I became aware of this story. So sometimes they would be set to meet up, and then they wouldn't. He would stand her up, but he would still make sure that she got her money, probably because he was worried that she was gonna blabber or something.
To be perfectly honest, the gifts were the money. It was the money that he would exchange with me during these meetups. Mm-hmm. There was one instance where he was not able to meet up with me, and it was probably one of the more stressful meetups because I wasn't being given an address. I wasn't being given a specific time. It was one email after another saying, I'll let you know, keep your afternoon open. So finally I received an email saying, here's an address, arrived there at, I'm not sure what time it was, but it was in the afternoon. Mm-hmm. I arrived and completely, utterly confused because it was a Chuck E. Cheese. And
Charles Entertainment just really owning the news cycle.
Utterly confused because it was a Chuck E. Cheese. And I thought, surely this is the incorrect address. So I emailed him back, and he told me to go to the back of the building, and next to the dumpster there would be a rubber mat. Look under it. And under this rubber mat was an envelope with money.
So, yeah, just you need to get money to her. How about the Chuck E. Cheese dumpster? Why not?
So he's there with his kid.
Yeah, or
you know where can I put this that no one's going to look? Okay.
All right, so we're getting to the point where they have a breaking up, which was in 2020. It sounds like, where they'd been meeting up. It went from monthly to every few months to every 6 months. And she describes two things that happened in her story of why she decided, I'm done with this guy and I'm actually going to out him. The first, this feels like the sort of thing she's just throwing in here as like dirt on his grave, but it is hilarious.
There were conversations that we had that, of course, the conversations between how this was not only fulfillment for him and his wife's intimacy, as that was lacking, according to him, but the fantasies went beyond taking our experience together with him and his wife into a much darker and more sinister area. It went on to...
I could promise you right now, I could give everyone in here, the horniest guys I know, 1,000 guesses. You wouldn't come close.
For example, he told me about a bake sale that his daughters were participating in for the neighborhood. And this was one of the very few times that he was comfortable being on the phone with me. And he explained to me how immensely attractive the idea would be to ejaculate into the cookie batter, to know that all of the children in the neighborhood, specifically girls, would be consuming his semen. Now, while this was a lot for me to take in...
You don't say. Dang, dude.
He thought he was rolling too, he's just talking to his side piece. He's like, yeah, they're making cookies. I wish I could just like, what are you saying? It's so insane that I don't feel like it could be made up, but it's also so insane that I can't imagine anybody actually saying that out loud, even if they did think it was funny. Like, I wouldn't say that to you, Dan.
Yeah.
And I have said some super gnarly stuff to you.
Yeah.
I don't have a friend who would make that joke to me. You know the dirtbags I hang out with? If one of them was like, wouldn't it be funny if we came in the batter and the kids ate it?
Yeah, no, that's... no,
dude, I'm calling the fucking police.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And this is the guy who's like, has a website. It's just the number one thing. Anyway.
It seems so outlandish that she couldn't have made that up.
Right. Yeah. Right. Now, she does have a little more why now. And it's flimsy, but we'll give her a chance to explain it.
I have.
Okay, so she was asked, like, have you, could you just reach out to him and tell him, like, hey, she has a real problem that he's anti-abortion. We'll get to that.
For my wanting to expose this now is because he is no longer in control of influencing only the lives of his friends and family, but he now has the power to influence the lives of so many people, and potentially in a massively negative way. I feel it would be unethical for me to speak up. There was a time
for her not to speak up.
that we had a phone call, and I had expressed a lot of my concerns to him. Not only him as a person, but moves that he was making in his career. I was very direct with him, and I said, I feel this is very two-faced. Who are you? You need to be honest. You need to stick to who you are, even if it's not going to advance your career. This caused him, for the first time in 17 years, to become angry with me, understandably.
So he gets pissed.
Wow, that sounds like a great relationship if that's the first time in 17 years he was angry.
Smooth, right?
Yeah.
Well, the real banger here, Let's see if it shows up in this part
This
of
is
the
the
audio.
same man who took
yeah.
these annual trips to the red light district.
This is fun here too because we're all gonna play. Do we know where the red light district is?
I thought she meant Amsterdam.
Yeah.
This is the same man who took these annual trips to the red light district per his wife's direction.
Sorry, so red light district trips to where?
The red light district.
So, sorry.
Abroad.
Okay, so like Amsterdam.
Yes.
Got it. And you saying he would take these trips?
Every year.
Oh, okay. So it's.
Did she say it the
admittedly,
direction of
it's
his
sounding
wife?
like this is a little political. It's you're not happy with the way he's.
Yeah, and she also says the wife knew about this all along.
The affair?
Yeah, like that she just wanted to keep it quiet.
It sounds like he's got a really cool wife. She's like, hey, look, go to the red light district once a year. I know you need to get that out.
Yeah.
You got your side piece.
So
that's all cool.
Yeah.
So
I'd like to show up at this lady's doorstep with
Yeah.
a box of candy and some
I
flowers.
think on this one you're just.
Okay, so
My
this
hair
is
slicked back.
This is the part that's really getting him, though, right? So the affair. Now she calls him and says, "Hey, I have a real problem with this. It's not that because I think she was in a serious relationship as well, and her real problem is like, hey, I see that you're like making your entire political career about abortions and about like controlling women's bodies. You know, it's weird because you do pay for sex, but also
potentially ending the relationship. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. There were certain moves he was making politically that really caused me to question him as a man.
What moves are those?
He is someone that portrays himself to be so anti-abortion, yet he has funded several abortions for his own personal gain.
And how do you know that?
I think on this one, you're just going to have to go with my word.
So that's when she decided to come out. You flew too close to the sun, Gio. My boy.
That's weird. He's been a congressman or whatever for a long time, right?
Yeah. No, he had like a political future. I mean, he's thought of as, I don't know about rising star, but he's a very charismatic
did he just start
dude.
voting for abortion stuff now?
No, but I think it probably ramped
She's
up.
been with him for 17 years.
Yeah, but he wasn't a politician when they met. He's only been in office. He took office in 2013. So they had been together for a good 10 years before he got into the political game. But yeah, I mean, this is the problem, man. Just be a dirtbag. Nobody expects anything from you. Why are you running this? I don't get it. I don't get the guy who feels like he's got to be. Just live it.
Maybe it's more there's more juice in that life because you're hiding you're playing this game.
Okay, I get the
people,
juice. Like, dude, that's a thing,
he
right?
loves the double life of the wife and the thing, and he's got double lives all over the place.
No,
it's great.
and that's a part of like addiction. I get it. The caper. What's the juice in voting against abortions and then having them? There's no like, I got away with one, like I'm MacGyver.
Yeah, but being a Republican in Texas, he can't be not against abortions.
Yeah, there's pressure of your image.
Okay, but doesn't
he
it
might
seem-
not have to lead the committee or whatever he's doing,
Your mic's off. Clout conservative. Yeah, but my point is, couldn't you just not be a politician rather than okay?
Yeah.
Half of his platform is abortion.
Yeah.
So if you're going to have abortions, I would think you'd find another line of work besides one that requires you to vote for those to be illegal.
Well, I mean, there's guys that are voting against gay rights, and they're hooking up with dudes in the
Yeah, and when that
airport.
happens, typically they get found out and have to stop doing it.
Yeah.
One or the other, voting or fucking. All right.
Well, this guy's stopping the effing.
There's your news.
The Dumb Zone News. Like and subscribe.
So viewer mail birthdays will be brought to us by Lone Star Beer. I didn't even offer our guest a Lone Star beer.
Oh,
Zach,
K Lastima. Look at that over there. What do you want, blue or red, big dog?
You don't have to have one, but
No,
I just want to say that
I'll
is
take a
available
red.
for you, as you see here in the Dragon Den high
Hell
atop
yeah,
my
you'll
garage.
take a red.
Yeah, I'll take a
It
red.
is now well stocked. We have a new
hold
refrigerator,
that up to the
and
mic
the
there.
first thing that we got to stock that refrigerator was Lone Star beer. Later, we added my blueberry yogurt and all the other little stuff that I put in there. But yeah, Lone Star beer, Lone Star Light, kick-ass merch on that website is 21% off if you type in dumbzone21 as your promo code. So LoneStarBeer.com. They've been brewing in Texas for over 140 years now. They're a fantastic sponsor, great partners of ours. They will be sponsoring some of our watch parties here as well, as always. So love you, Lone Star Beer. And to a greater extent, for me at least, the Lone Star Light. Love that Lone Star Light. Is that what you got? Oh, no, you got the regular.
I get the red.
You got the man's beer.
It's delicious.
Hey, thanks. I brewed it myself. So we'll do some viewer mail birthdays. And remember, we have some Kyle Gibson coming up. Closing remarks, Kyle Gibson. Viewer mail birthdays. Did you handle these well when I was gone, Blake?
No.
No.
I did them.
I was hoping you guys would not do the show well. I don't want to hear, like, hey, the show was great when you were gone.
You get your wish.
I'd want the show to be bad.
No. I'm sorry, Blake. I thought we had a nice time.
I did the best I could. I'm no Dan.
I thought it sounded good.
See, that's not what I want. That's just not what I want to hear. I want to hear these guys can't do anything without you.
Well, I mean, it wasn't the same without Dan being there, but
that's what I want to hear. I just gave you a beer, dude.
Yeah, I know.
Help me out.
I got you.
Dear Sultan of Twat, the great Clambino, and today's Horror Games winner, I'd like to do a viewer pre-Ken check and wish my... Oh, wait. What day is this?
Today's Monday.
Oh, Jesus. This is like for a Friday birthday. All right. Well, I'll read that again Friday.
Damn, son.
Why would you send me that? Why would you send me something for an 8-3 birthday now?
Guess you can forget how to ride a bike, Blake.
Maybe Blake did it better than me. Did you read them like ahead of time? I didn't.
What sort of sorcery were you engaging in?
I just got an email this morning. I'm
Hey,
like,
don't yell
this
at
guy
him.
wants his... Dear Coxswain of the Clit. July 28th. What day is today?
July 28th.
Excellent.
Yes.
It's my
On
brother
target.
Jimmy's Dirk birthday. His leaders are Dan and Jim Knox. His unleader is Bo Jackson for being too busy at batting practice July 28th, 1994, to sign a ball for Jimmy on his 10th birthday at a ballpark in Arlington and proceeding to get a golden sombrero while his Angels were perfect gamed by a Ranger with the reddest of asses.
Ha ha.
Never bunt from Cactus Mac.
Cactus Mac. That's really good. Solid email. Who would have been? Is that Nolan? No.
Kenny Rogers.
And
Okay,
dear
there you go.
Daniel Lay Screwus.
It's outside of the meme format, but I'll take it.
Today is the 11th birthday of my travel ball swag lord son, Vincent.
Damn.
I know exactly what he looks like.
I know.
Who was very confused when Jake said he was topping out at 46 on the gun. He could throw that fast when he was 8.
If you've ever had confidence with your throw, just hang out with an 11-year-old who plays travel ball.
I know.
Also, Tuesday is my Mark Clark birthday. My leaders are Vanessa the Spider, Post Taco Jake, and Menage Sarah. My supreme leader is Establish the Run Guy. I posit that the beehive is too soft. We must create a separatist movement known as the Proud Bees. The people have had just about enough of those slinging around offenses. More Julie, Shale, and Dean Goo from Joel C. in Colorado.
That is a good dude right there. Hey, did we name the spider and I missed it?
Well, the spider's gone, so.
He said Vanessa the Spider.
Yeah, I don't know if we did.
He had some other good ones in there, too.
So a little on this day, Monday, July 28th, we have President Roosevelt in 1943 announced the end of coffee rationing. Apparently that was for the war.
What year?
1943. That limited people to 1 pound of coffee every 5 weeks.
If you were above a certain age, because my grandpa told me about this.
Really?
When he turned a certain age, his parents were happy that they could get extra coffee.
Like renting a car?
Kind of. I forget. I'll have to ask him the age again.
I have such weak coffee, I cannot relate to this at all. I'll put 2 scoops into my entire pot every morning. But I think it's supposed to be like 5 or 8 scoops. But going through a pound in 5 weeks seems like a lot.
His parents were excited when he turned 16 so that they could get more coffee rations.
You went right to the notes.
Yeah.
I love it. You see that, Dan?
On this day in 1945, a U.S. Army bomber crashed into the 79th floor of New York's Empire State Building, killing 14 people.
I did not know that.
Yeah, how about that?
It's news to me.
This is the day in 1994.
A lot of people don't know the pilot from Saudi Arabia.
They escorted him out. Kenny Rogers pitched a perfect game. 15th perfect game in Major League history on this night in 1994. Rusty Greer with a diving catch saved that game.
There you go.
On this day in 1999, Lions running back Barry Sanders retires from football at the age of 31, only 1,458 yards away from breaking Walter Payton's all-time rushing record. Remember this, Jake? On this day in 2015, an American shot a protected lion known as Cecil during the bow hunt. A Minnesota dentist issued a statement saying he thought everything about his trip was legal. The officials in Zimbabwe said he had not broken the country's hunting laws.
Dude, if somebody wanted to write like just a history of stories like this, that one was a canary in the coal mine right there. And I don't even know if the guy was a S-head or not, but like ruining that guy's life and shutting down his business over the lion thing, that was a sign of things to come. You know? Like, we had no business even knowing that guy's name.
Yeah.
And then, like, the next day, people in San Francisco were, like, able to get his Minneapolis dentist office closed down. It's crazy. They get Norm's producer fired.
Couple weddings
All
on
sorts
this
of stuff.
A couple weddings on this date, just to prove that guys always like younger women, no matter when in history. In 2007, Steve Martin was 61. He married Anne Stringfield. She was how old?
28.
He's 61. She's 35. So
He's
not
of
bad.
the creepy generation, though. He always gave me the creeps, too.
Steve Martin?
Yeah.
How about this day in 1540 wedding? King Henry VIII. He's 49. He's going to marry his 5th wife. How old do you think she is?
16.
I was going to say 13.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've got on this date.
On this day in Dumb Zone history.
Back in 2020, Jake walked in on his wife's Zoom meeting in his underwear.
Oh, man, yeah.
I think that was pretty tough for
Crank
you.
and hog.
That was pre-game day, though. Now I'd be like,
yeah, bloated Jake.
All bricked up. We were kicking around, what if the Texas Rangers kneeled before the anthem?
just down the line?
Yeah.
Be very funny.
And then in 2021, you guys were at camp, and Jake did the Spencer McKenzie's Burrito Challenge, trying to take down 3 of them before you vomited.
Yep.
Didn't do it?
I got a 1 3/4, but yeah, man. Had to give it a go.
Well, I can't wait. Spencer McKenzie.
I know. And then this is probably coming up.
Yeah. No, don't do it.
Okay. There you go.
All right. Other birthdays today. Frank Nitila.
Frankie
Smokes.
Frankie Smokes.
Into Kina is 27.
The smoke screen.
Here's something interesting. Spencer Howard is 29 today.
The Philly Ranger pitcher?
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why did I say it's interesting, Blake?
Because he was in the Kyle Gibson trade?
That was the big. We got to get Spencer Howard, dude.
Wow.
That's going to be the next one.
I forgot about him.
We have to get that -2.5 WAR he's going to throw up for us, which he did. Greg Hardy, 37. Malik Neighbors, 22.
He gets beat up pretty often, Greg Hardy.
Malik Neighbors might kill Russell Wilson this year.
See, they named him the starter.
Yeah, I did.
They're not letting Jameis compete.
There's some funny.
He was afraid of
Jameis
Jameis
quotes. They should be.
Manu Ginobili is 48. Soccer man Harry Kane is 31.
I will say a shout out to the Giants social media team for the Malik Neighbors video I saw. They're handing guys a tape measure and saying with their eyes closed, "Show me a yard." Because I find that most people who don't play football or have never been on a football field or aren't routinely on a football field very much lose track of how long a yard is. He measured out 6 inches.
D'Amico Ryans, 41.
Yeah, gave it a shot.
What do you mean?
I don't know.
You're still the coach?
You don't think they're good?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
Marty Brenneman is 83.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone after this year.
Father of Thom was the Reds' longtime radio announcer. Jim Davis is 80. He is the creator of Garfield.
Don't get it, but...
Oh, Henry's nodding like, oh, yeah. Hell yeah, bro. Garfield.
Big Garfield guy?
Give me Garfield. Are we doing a Henry birthday? Come on over. Dana White is 56. Actress Lori Loughlin is 61.
Dana White is a wife puncher.
On the ground. Where I'm pointing.
Oh, you know what? I have a couple of rappers, so I guess I won't even do it. Do you have it?
I completely forgot about the bit.
Afro Man, 51.
No, I would not have done Afro Man.
Why?
Because...
I love Afro Man.
And that's the thing.
Oh. Soldier Boy, 35.
Soul Hot Boy might have made it. Was that going to be yours, Henry?
It was going to be one of the two.
Okay.
Do you want me to let you go?
Yeah.
Let Henry cook.
Okay, so another rapper, Glorilla, is 26.
I do hear a lot of talk about Glorilla.
Just another
She's
shaking
hot,
ass
right?
rapper.
Yeah. There's like a bunch of facsimiles of Meg Thee Stallion.
All right.
She is with Brandon Ingram. Looks like here. Who probably makes $35 million a year or something like that.
Elizabeth Berkley is 53.
Who's that?
Saved by the Bell.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the showgirls lady.
Still hot.
I think I've seen her.
Has different color eyes. Like, what's his
Oh.
name? The pitcher.
Scherzer?
And then I'm giving our Dumb Zone birthday of the day to you as my gift to you, knowing that we're just good friends, because you have to know this hurts me to make this the runner-up. I have a runner-up. This one's for me.
Okay.
And I was wondering, why isn't she there this morning? And then I looked at this. Kate Baldwin is 42. The host of CNN's 5 Things that you can watch on HBO Max.
Leave her alone.
I love her. Love her.
We know,
Those are the
dude.
things you need to get your day going. Now get going.
Now, Kate
You know what,
Baldwin.
Kate? I'm going to get going.
Now,
Thanks.
Kate Baldwin, where is she on the daughter hotline? Because I think Kate Baldwin...
I think I would like my daughter. She could be Kate Baldwin hot.
No, perfect. I agree.
Right. I still take her seriously.
Right. It helps to be kind of flat.
But I don't. The other thing I want to say about her, I can't say within the same sentence of just talking to my daughter.
Yeah. Yep.
Or else I'll be David Hasselhoff or Trump.
Or any of the birthdays we've named today.
Yeah, Henry
Right.
VIII.
But I'm giving this one to you.
Oh, wow.
You
what
ready?
could be big?
37 years old today, Sarah Snook.
Sarah Snook?
No.
Oh, okay.
Shiv.
Yeah, I don't even know her.
Speaking of
her
daughter
real
hotline.
name. She's the line. She is the namesake. She's the Mendoza.
You feel comfortable if your daughter is Sarah Snook hot?
And here's why. Because I think she makes me hornier than the average person. I think most people are like, she's kind of attractive. She makes me want to break the law.
Right.
But I like that.
Yeah. There you go.
Thanks, bud, for birthday of the day.
You're welcome. Born on this day, now dead, Earl Tupper.
Of the ware.
He
Hell
invented
yeah.
Tupperware.
Thanks, man. Thanks for all the microplastics.
In 1264. Just kidding. He's,
no.
He died in 1983.
No, but Picasso
So he
did
solved
put
Picasso.
leftovers in Tupperware.
Yes. Picasso had a whole set of Tupperware.
Shit, none of it matches. It's all mismatch. I don't know. I don't know
Also
clue.
born on this day, now dead, Angela Hitler.
Oh.
It's probably Angela.
Yeah, probably.
Right? Yeah. Sister. If you're wondering, like, which Hitler? Yeah, it's not Tabitha. It's not Curtis and Tabitha. Died on this day, still dead. We have what year? Give me a year he lived. Vivaldi, the composer.
Oh, damn. Well,
Antonio Vivaldi. I'll just tell you, he died on this day in 1741.
That was about.
That was later than I thought.
Yeah, that was later than I thought.
And then we have 2 on this day in 2021. 1, Blake has held back from giving me. I'll let him give that in a moment. 1, though, is Ron Popeil. Is that how you say his name? He's the inventor of the Ronco TV ads. Ron Popeil. But wait, Papali? No.
Man, I think this is one where it just missed our generation entirely.
Oh, okay.
I've seen this logo before, but...
He started the whole...
so this is who Dan Aykroyd's supposed to be.
Perhaps. He
It
was
makes sense.
starting it, and then it got to the next... You know the other guy.
Okay, this has got to be...
The ShamWow guy.
Vince Shalomi?
Yeah, that came after. This guy started... This guy was like Judge Wapner.
Billy Mays, that sort of thing.
He led the way for Judge Judy, you know?
But you remember, like, the Bass-O-Matic?
Yeah.
Like, O-Matic was a Ronco creation.
Okay.
Oh.
And then Blake...
I watched a documentary about that.
Same day in 2021. Blake?
Hey, real quick before we go, rest in peace to ZZ Top bassist Dusty Hill, found dead at the age of 70. Now we got a few minutes before we go to break, guys. Go ahead. Tell me how much whatever.
Can I give you my reflections on this moment?
What does ZZ Top mean to you?
And then he's back there in his head thinking like, well, the musers in Hardline would want to know.
No,
it's news.
it was
Cat likes rock and roll music.
No, I just saw a bunch of people tweeting about him and thought, well, this is the news.
Or at camp.
Here's Dusty Hill dying.
Dusty Hill. I would have assumed like bullpen coach.
Can we continue to do the show? This is where we have to fight through all the and let our training just take over.
And that was Today in History.
You got 3 burritos sitting in front of you.
Jeez.
Now, should we roll and start some closing remarks and let Kyle Gibson just interrupt that and then finish closing? Like, you want to do that?
Yeah, let's keep
Okay,
rolling.
because Kyle Gibson, former Texas Rangers great, is going to join us in a minute. Closing remarks will be brought to us by Game Day Men's Health.
I went in there last week at 8 o'clock, 8:01, which is when they opened. And I said, guess who's here to be the first buns of the day? And they said, you're third. Because the type of people who are going to Game Day Men's Health, they're hustling, buddy.
Yeah.
And getting 10% off, Dan. TRT. When you tell them you're a Dumb Zone listener.
Yeah. So go to the game. What do they got? 9 area locations? Anything around DFW. If you're in Kansas City, sorry.
So I want to make sure we do get Zach proper time here. So if we come back after KG and we just have a long-ass show, whatever. Because he said he wrote a book.
Is that why you booked this sit-in, Zach?
Yeah.
To promote your book?
Yeah, in part that. I
and
mean,
to get a free beer?
Yeah, exactly. I was looking for the Lone Star. That was my main goal here. But no, I mean, long-time listener, going back. I was telling Jake earlier, IJB and on the ticket and everything before. So, it's kind of something I've been thinking about doing since this was something y'all offered to do and kind of lined up well with my buddy and I from law school. We wrote a book called Sports Chaos. We launched it around the NBA Finals with, not that much marketing, advertising, but falls right in line with a lot of stuff we talk about here. It's kind of based around the decision dynamics process, which is something that coaches, GMs, ownership, whatever it needs to be, should be making decisions based off of the various wars of reason as we see them, which is business versus law, law versus sports, sports versus morality. If you're making a decision on, should I cut this player, should I trade this player? Well, not only does that have a monetary impact on how does this affect the cap, it has a sports impact on how does this affect the team. It has a cultural impact on how does this affect the city. And you need to take all of those things into consideration when making an informed decision.
Well, I'm only thinking about one trade here.
Yeah, well,
sure.
Just because how does it affect a city? Generally, there are a few guys that.
Exactly, and generally there are a few guys, but the one that comes to mind certainly is Luka, but also kind of a similar vein of that would be Ja in Memphis. he means a lot more to the city of Memphis, and he is technically their best player, but then he would in a different market.
Right.
There's, that like cultural value or, tie to the city that you would need to, as a smart general manager, take into consideration if you were going to trade him, particularly after seeing, the fallout of what happened here in Dallas.
Like, what Isaac Rochelle means to the city of San Diego. That's why he had to sign his one day there, right?
Exactly. And what's crazy is we were writing this book and maybe, 95% done when the Luka trade happened. And that was just something that fell right in line.
It feels like you would have started the book
about.
when that happened. Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. No, just kind of – so the initial draft of the book doesn't even have a Luka chapter because that had not happened yet. And then the final version of the book has a Luka chapter because that happened right as we were getting ready to put all this out. And our contention is, which I believe Jake agrees with, is that they didn't want to pay the man. And they didn't want to pay the man because he was not theirs. They could not lay claim to him. The fact that Luka pre-existed the ownership group and Nico Harrison's attachment to the franchise, anything that happened that was good for the Mavericks was good because of Luka. But they couldn't claim that. They didn't draft him. They didn't sign him. He pre-existed their relationship. And they didn't like that. But, they can't claim Kyrie. They can't claim AD. They can't claim – now they can claim Cooper, which is just insane. Don't even get started on that whole nonsense. But that's what our contention is,
I think it's, it seems like the sort of thing you want to get into, like, college courses.
Yes, and that's
the curriculum book.
Exactly. That's the long run of it.
Because I've gone, I've told these guys before, like Jamie Newberg teaches a class at SMU that's very similar to this sort of stuff, like that, things like tanking or like load management, like the more like literal moral parts of that, the economics of it. So yeah, it seems exactly like the sort of thing that'd be perfect in as the centerpiece of a classroom. Like, how do you even decide to do this?
Wait, what's the book called?
It's called Sports Chaos.
Okay,
it's available on Amazon.
We'll get back to it in a few minutes.
Okay, sure.
Because as we told you, we had a Kyle Gibson booked, yes. And we have a Kyle Gibson on the line right now. Do we need to break first, or are we good, Blake?
Let's see.
Let's just fire him up. He's a veteran podcaster, so he's probably got his levels right, and a microphone, and he's one of us now. He's a civilian. Kyle, do you read me?
Yeah, I got you guys good.
The great Kyle Gibson.
Wow.
Back again.
What's up, guys?
Look at him.
We know you've done lots of podcast. We've been talking about guys signing one-day contracts. So is this your one-day contract with our podcast?
Sure. You know what? I didn't formally get any e-sign documents or a DocuSign to go over. But, I guess if you guys are able to do just a gentleman's agreement here, yeah, maybe it is.
What do you consider, like, if your wife said you have to go sign a one-day contract with some baseball team, who do you do it with?
Oh man, what a tough one. Probably the Twins. There's a lot of life happened with the Twins that just can't replicate. 3 of our 4 kids born there. Lived there for 6 summers. 6.5 summers, just beautiful up there. But that would probably be the one that I did one day. But I don't know. I think there were times where I wore out my welcome there with having a bad start here or there. So maybe they wouldn't want to do that. I don't know.
How often does that come up? Like people coming up to you and even jokingly making a comment about a fantasy team, or like actually coming up to you and having negative feedback to you in person about your performance. Does it ever happen?
No, not in person.
That's kind of what I
rarely
figured.
In person. Every now and then, like family will, and they just mean it, innocently, right? Like they would ask about what happened, or, how did this guy hit this pitch or whatever. But people, you get so much negative feedback on social media that just they're able to just type it and hit go, and then they feel a lot better about it. But I don't normally respond to the ones that make sure to tell me that they missed their parlay or something like that. Like I'm not worried that your 10-leg parlay missed because I didn't strike out enough guys. You should have known better. I don't ever strike out a ton of guys, so that's not.
It's
great,
true.
But,
well, their kids aren't going to college now, though. So we get it at 1% the level you do. But I actually had a guy come up to me outside a TCU game one time, and he's like, "I just wanted to tell you, you're awful on the air," and I respected it so much. I'm like, that's very refreshing.
Yeah. I don't know. It's people. It's like some people never have a tough day at work. You know, I don't know. I feel like everybody does, but
Sure.
Yeah, but you make $1 million, so
Yeah,
you should.
that's right.
That's
never should have a tough day at work. Should always be at the top of my game.
That's right. That's what established the run guy would say. Anyway, yeah, I was kind of looking over your stuff because we got to know you when you were here, and arguably your best season that you had was here in Texas, or is your only All-Star year for sure. And if you look at WAR and that kind of stuff, I think you matched it in Minnesota. But I was looking at your history being in Minnesota, and you got called up. You had real good success, like your first start. And then you got sent down during the year, and then you come back, and then you're pretty good for a while, and then you get sent down again. Like, what is that like? That must be really when you talk about like a lot of living or a lot of life, like that helps shape you, I suppose, right?
Yeah, that's the journey, man. That's the thing that people, when I got to 10 years, or now that I've had 11 and change, whatever it is, people ask about how great it's been to play a long time. Well, I'm going to tell you what, there were times I was hoping to get, tendered a contract the next year going through arbitration. There was times that I was hoping to not get DFA'd in 2016 and 2017. It just wasn't always roses for me all the time. It was ups and downs. It was, trying to figure out how to do things a little different, do it a little bit better. And I think the 2017 season was a really hard year to start because I went through kind of a shoulder strain all year of 2016, pitched through it when probably should have just taken time off and didn't. That's not in my DNA. I just wanted to pitch. Pitched through it, and then had the worst start of 9 starts of my career right in a row to start 2017. And 4 years in, get sent down. And let me tell you, there were times that stretch the first month and a half, I was basically going in and asking to be sent down because we were really good. And it just felt like every 5 days I was the reason we were losing. And that's a bad place to be. You want to talk about people telling you on social media how bad you are. They didn't have to tell me how bad I was then. I felt awful about myself. And it was just but I got sent down, and what a refreshing time were the Twins. That was the first year for Derek Falvey and Thad Levine in Minnesota. And they sent down one thing for me. They said, hey, over the last 2.5 seasons when you struggled, or the last year and a half when you struggled, when your fastball is in the strike zone over 50% of the time, you haven't been beaten with an ERA around 3. When your fastball is not in the zone 50% of the time, you get hit. And I was like, wow, maybe this is a lot simpler than I'm making it right now. And the rest of the year when I got called up, I threw the ball pretty well and had a pretty good 2-year stretch there. But there's a lot of life that happens when you go through ups and downs. And like you said, it definitely forms who you are and allowed me, I think, to have a different perspective when I started being the veteran, being able to talk to young guys going through struggles.
Dude, I'm glad you brought that up. One of the things I wanted to ask you, because I'm reading a book called The MVP Machine. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
I'm not familiar with it.
But it is about
Ben Lindbergh. You're probably familiar with Ben. Lindbergh or Travis Sawchuk? No, maybe not.
I'm going to be honest. I am not much of a reader.
Okay.
You know what? Maybe I come across as a reader, but let me tell you.
You do track as a reader. You fooled me well.
Yeah, no. But it's really about using analytics, and it's not really about developing players as much as it is about, like, getting the most out of players now. And even a guy, like you said, here you are, you've been highly successful, you made the big leagues, but you're kind of struggling. What do I do here? But you were given that little analytic note by Thad Levine, and that really helped you. So my question was, what is your experience in using analytics? I guess you have that. But do you have other, how is analytics, have you used it to help shape your career at all, if you have?
Yeah, I absolutely have. At the end of September in 2022, when Caleb Cotham in Philadelphia said, hey, do you want to make your slider go a little bit more to the left and see what that looks like today in a bullpen? I was like, sure, that sounds like a lot of fun. And I never threw my gyro slider again until this year. I went straight to a sweeper from that bullpen to my next start. And it was all based on, what do I think a pitch that moves to the left more does for my sinker that moves to the right more? So that was a big part of it. Then when I, started throwing that cutter in Texas in 2021, talking with Lance Lynn, talking with Jake Odorizzi, guys that threw a cutter, threw a 2-seam going both ways. It was a lot of that question, a lot of that conversation of, what does this cutter do for me to lefties? And when I started throwing the cutter, it started helping me with splits to lefties. All of a sudden, like I had a pitch that stayed in on the lefty and allowed me to get weak contact and get more outs against lefties. And then this year, I started in off season of trying to think about, okay, what does it look like to throw my gyro slider to lefties again? Lefties started adjusting to the sweeper. And what does it look like to use this tight slider that I use my whole life to lefties again? And I started doing that again, just based off looking at, okay, I use this gyro slider 15% of the time to lefties before I threw my sweeper. I'm throwing my sweeper 2 to 3% against lefties. I'm eliminating a pitch when I should be throwing 6 pitches to everybody. So yeah, analytics, if you know how to use them and you can find people who can put them in verbiage for players to take them to the field and take them to the mound, in my case, it's important. But you're going to lose me when it's just throw your slider 50% of the time and you're going to be really good, because that's just not how it works.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because both things you just described are analytics. The thing that they sent you when they sent you down, right? People think analytics and think it's got to be very, very complicated. It was a simple answer for you, at least according to them, of pounding the zone there. I wonder, though, when you talk about that 2017 change, were there other things, other pitches in your repertoire that had to change, like what you're talking about with the cutter? Because I don't think people think about that. If I'm going to add this, that's going to enhance something that goes the other way, and just as a full repertoire. So when they told you to emphasize just fastball in the zone, did that change anything else related to that, or is that just straightforward?
I didn't shift anything other than trying to make sure I was throwing fastballs in the strike zone. And then really just paying attention to, am I getting myself in bad counts where I either, one, have to throw a fastball in the strike zone, and that's not ever where you want to be as a pitcher, or two, am I getting predictable where now he's definitely not going to throw a fastball in the strike zone, so now he's going to throw off speed, and it makes your off speed worse. So no, I didn't shift a single thing except for I'm going to make sure that if I throw 2 fastballs in the first 3 pitches, both of those fastballs are in the strike zone, because I've got a lot of movement and my 4-seam and 2-seam play totally different. And I'm going to make sure that I'm forcing contact and making hitters swing, because what started happening was hitters would take, and because I wasn't in the zone enough. So then all of a sudden I'm behind 2-0, behind 2-1, and I'm in bad counts. Well, if I can get the hitter thinking I have to swing, now I'm actually going to get chase on those off-speed pitches outside the strike zone that I wasn't getting. That's
fascinating. Boy, the Rangers game last night, opposing pitcher walked the first 2 batters, and it felt like the game was over, and effectively it was. So you go back to that time when I can't remember where you were. What staff member says, "Hey, what if we move your slider a little bit to the left?"
Yeah.
Here? How easy is it for you? And I'm sorry if this is all boring to you, but it's
not boring at all. You talk about reading the book. This is where I geek out. Right
okay.
Here. Good.
So they say we're going to go throw this in a bullpen. How easy is it for you to when you leave that bullpen session? Can you locate it? Can you locate that pitch where that guy wants you to, or does it take forever? And is it – because the other thing Dan and I always talk about is it's frustrating that people live tweet training camp for football because they're working on stuff. Mm-hmm. So I wonder, if they say we want you to move that slider, how long does it take before you can take that game ready?
Well, for me, and that slider was 5 days later. So I don't know awesome. That was pretty incredible. But – honestly, I think for me, because it was still a slider, I was just figuring out where do I start it, right? I took the same movement down and I just added 10 inches of left movement to it. So I just needed to figure out, if I want this pitch to be a strike, it needs to start on the inside corner to a righty. If I want this pitch to be a ball, I just want to throw this down the middle, and it's going to end up a ball, and I just had to trust that. That was the biggest shift for me. And quite honestly, I'll never forget it. I was warming up. It was against the Braves. I don't know the date, but it was like my second to last start in September 2022. I told Garrett Stubbs, I was like, "Hey, Stubb, I'm going to throw only sweepers here, warming up for the game," which was 6. I don't throw that many in my warm-ups. And then I'm going to throw them on the mound when I'm warming up for the first inning, because we were at home. If I throw 2 good ones warming up, we're throwing it the rest of the day. We're not going back. First batter of the game was Dansby Swanson, and I got a strikeout on a sweeper. So, I mean, I couldn't have written it up any better. Then it felt good. And I just said, you know what, we're going to use it and see where it goes.
So with all the new analytics, I feel like we have more stat categories than we ever have before. And just talking with pitchers, it used to just be, what's your ERA? And then we added whip, and then now it's Ks per nine. Now that's all the StatCast stuff. So, we're obsessed with Jack Leiter right now. He's kind of our young ace, hopefully, to be. But when you look at his ERA and some of his whip and his other stuff, he's not having an awesome year. But to me, I think he's been awesome. And so when you reflect as a pitcher, are there any sort of stats or categories that you pay more attention to?
I was always an ERA guy. Because my goal was to not give up runs. I understand that, maybe analytic departments look at FIP and certain things. I think a lot of these encapsulate the same thing. WHIP. Okay. Do you walk guys? Do you give up hits? Okay. That's kind of straightforward. I think it just combines those two things together to maybe show how many base runners you are actually giving up. But I had somebody tell me something in 2019 when I was coming off a pretty good 2-year stretch, and then I had my stomach stuff pop up that really kind of threw a wrench to the rest of that year. But the analytic guy said, "Hey, Gibby, quite honestly, I wouldn't even worry about your ERA going into free agency because teams are going to look at your FIP, and your FIP is right in line with where your career numbers are." I was like, man, that makes me feel a whole lot better about having a high 4 ERA, pitching through, not feeling really good. When I know that my FIP is still going well. But I've never liked having bad numbers and going, well, but my FIP's okay, so we'll be okay.
Yeah, it could get even worse too because they have the expected statistics now, which is just based on contact and whatnot. And I mean, I guess it's actually kind of working out, but I've just been, instead of going to the real standings, just going to the expected standings every day for the Rangers. And it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. I
pretty
don't
cool.
know. The expected stats, this is where the expected stats would go back to who's playing the game. Are these humans that mess up, or is this just MLB The Show and you're playing the CPU the whole time? You're never going to get me to believe that a hitter is always looking for a fastball, so you can always throw sliders. You're never going to get me to believe that, you name the stat, that it's just always going to play out. It just doesn't. Yeah, great. I think there's things that I can, lean on, right? Like I always wanted my exit velo against to be low. I always wanted to be giving up ground balls over fly balls. And I wanted to not walk guys. Okay, if I can have those three things in line with what I normally do, I'm probably going to believe that at the end of the day, I'm going to end up okay, right? And those are probably the three things that I looked at the most, when I was struggling. Okay, yes, am I locating pitches? Of course. But some of the expected stats, like, oh, well, if you weren't playing in this ballpark and it wasn't this windy and it wasn't this, well, but it was. So what do you want to do? Like, this is where I'm at. I'm sorry. I'm in Kauffman Stadium. I'm in Busch Stadium. Like, it's a bigger park. That's just how it is.
So you're talking stats and everything. You signed a minor league deal early this year with Tampa Bay. And if I'm just looking at the stats, it looks like everything was going great. Your ERA is fantastic. All the numbers look great. Why did you then decide to retire while playing so well this year?
I going to Tampa was a tough decision because, with 4 kids coming back home and leaving is just tough on them and tough on Elizabeth. And but I knew that I felt physically really well, and I wanted to know that the results could still match up with how I felt. And Tampa had been a place that I'd looked at the last few years about really thinking that they were a good place for a pitcher to go because of how they develop guys. And I just talked with Elizabeth and said, hey, I really would like to take 3 weeks, see where I'm at the end of the 3 weeks, and see what opportunities come up if I'm throwing the ball really well. And if I'm not, then I'm okay with retiring now, but I'd like to give it another chance. And I threw the ball really well, felt awesome, physically was right where I wanted to be. And quite honestly, I just didn't have the opportunity that I thought would be there after throwing the ball well. Tampa didn't have the opportunity. They were super upfront with me. This is not a slight on them because they were as open on communication as I could ever have hoped for. But the phone calls just weren't coming. And when we called people, they just didn't have a spot, So part of it was I was ready to be home, ready to be with the kids. And the other part was I felt like I had done all that I could do. I didn't really think I needed to go back and pitch any more minor league games to prove that I was healthy and prove that I could throw the ball well. And at the end of the day, there wasn't teams that wanted those services at the time. So I was like, you know what? I think it's time for me to go home and be a dad and be a husband. And this has been a lot of fun, but everything kind of runs its course, and that's where I was at.
I wonder if you were a lefty, if that'd be different.
It definitely would be different. Lefties, there's just something about lefties, man. It's how it goes. But yeah, I don't know. I'm sure age, velocity, you want to talk about analytics. There's something to throwing harder. I get it. Guys that don't throw as hard have to be more controlled and more, fine tuned on your location. But yeah, I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just God's timing saying, hey, there's not going to be any opportunities because you need to go home, and it's time to be home with those kids. And so far it's worked out. I've had a blast.
It's pretty sweet to just retire mowing people down regardless of who those people are, though.
Yeah.
Like I said, everybody should just be like, yeah, I want to go kick around at Double-A for a second.
You're like
just
Peyton Manning. You left on top.
15-1 strike. Yeah, exactly.
That the last start in Omaha.
I hope you were just talking trash. I hope you were just storming around like Kenny Powers, like, I'm the flammable.
It was, other than having my wife and kids there, it was just about a great setup. My mom and dad were able to drive out. I got some strikeouts, and the last pitch I threw was a sinker inside to a righty, and I got a ground ball out, and that was my last out. So
there it is.
And it was a lot of fun.
You knew that'd be your last game?
No, I didn't, honestly.
Oh.
I had an opt-out the next day, so I knew that if the Rays didn't have an option or an opportunity for me, that I was going to opt out.
Okay, so that's why you invited your –
honestly, yeah, quite honestly, I kind of knew – I kind of thought that I'd been throwing the ball well, so, maybe there'll be another opportunity. And I think I had a couple minor league opportunities and maybe one opportunity for like, hey, we need you in the bullpen tomorrow. And I'm like, well, I don't know. It just doesn't sound like something that I just want to pick up and go do. So the opportunities after that just weren't, wasn't a starter, and, wasn't something long-term that was more intriguing than being at home with the kids.
So you were sort of involved in my introduction into the torpedo bats with the Yankees. Yeah. As a pitcher, is it kind of BS that they can just kind of switch the bat on you, or does it?
No, I don't think so. I think they have the regulations. I think if they're in it, great. I think one thing that for me that I don't think people thought about maybe not nearly as much. That's not the right way to say it, but everything is a give and take, right? I'll use Adley Rutschman. I think he uses one every now and then. We'll just use him since he's a buddy of mine. I don't want to blow anybody else up. But we'll say, like, okay, if you're getting jammed and you move the barrel down, great. But if you do that, you're leaving the end of the bat extremely exposed to things going away from you, or cutters on the outside, or the end of the bat is now not a hit. It is an out. There's a reason that having that barrel in that, area is important. You might be taking that 70-mile-an-hour, duck fart into left and turning it into a routine 40-mile-an-hour line drive to short. So I think if it's okay for me to create a sweeper in 5 days and the Braves have no idea that pitch is coming, I'd say it's probably okay if you want to move the barrel and it's within the regulations that you're allowed to have it, move it. Because if you're worried about getting jammed, I think it's a good thing. But just know that a pitcher that can throw the ball and make it go the other way, that end of the bat's just is exposed now.
Well, I was on the wall for you because I thought there's no way the Yankees should be hitting these balls out.
You know what? I appreciate that. Definitely was a torpedo bat for sure.
I heard you say that when you decided it was time to retire, that it was just in time for the family trip to the lake. So what is your lake? What are we doing lake wise? What's your lake scene?
So the lake is Lake Norfolk in Arkansas that my in-laws have been going to for, 35 years probably. And they go every year the same week. Just so happens to be right before All-Star break, not on All-Star break. So the last 11 years I wasn't able to go. But this year it's a lot of people from their town that they live in. It's almost like the town kind of shuts down a little bit. And a lot of their family, a lot of their friends are down there. So everybody kind of takes the week and goes down and zips around on Lake Norfolk and skis and tubes and docks up to each other and swims and has a lot of fun. So
that sounds awesome.
I rented a car very early on one morning, I think, maybe like on Friday, and I got up at 6 a.m. and met the kids at the lake the first day at the lake, and everybody was pretty surprised. So it was pretty fun.
I had a baseball question because, the Rangers kind of made waves a couple months ago when Kevin Pillar said that, he wouldn't see some of his teammates until the game. We have a head football coach in this area who wants to just play ping pong with the guys.
It's not that he just wants to play ping pong. It's in addition to we're trying to create chemistry. Keep going, Blake.
Does team chemistry matter that much? Because I'm trying to find the balance. If you win a World Series and you hate each other, I feel like that's probably okay. But did you ever think that team chemistry had anything to do with results?
Team chemistry has a ton to do with it. And I would challenge you to go and find somebody who, when they win the World Series, they're like, you know what? We really didn't get along this year. It was a battle all year long. We were at each other's throats. But in the end of the day, it was all about baseball and all about winning. And we're not going to talk to each other. You don't hear anybody say that. Maybe it's because it's not the politically right answer to say. But I can tell you the teams that I've been on that have won are extremely close. Culture matters. Chemistry matters because whether you're poking fun at somebody or you're encouraging them or finding the right time to say something, you have to know when that is. And, if you want to say something to somebody in the middle of an 0 for 20 stretch, you better say it the right way at the right time, and you better know how to do that, or you're just going to set them off, right? Culture and chemistry matters. I know it can't be measured, and, there's some front offices that don't believe in it, but I think there's something too when an expiring free agent leaves or is traded away, that void sometimes isn't filled. And I think it can really set a team off and set a team back unless you find the right people to do that. But I don't know if it's ping pong. Maybe it's not. Maybe
what about
it's
free
something
throws?
else. But
paintball. Cowboys have done them all, KG.
So I have in the back of the Minnesota Twins equipment room, they put like a nice glass backboard mini hoop, and Caleb Thielbar and I would go in there and we'd have competitions quite a bit on who can make the most out of 10. I think all that stuff's important, man. I mean, we all have families, most of us, we all have things to get our mind off of the game, away from the field. But when you're at the field, you got to know, and you got to be able to trust that if I don't get it done, somebody else is. If we have a bad first inning, it's okay. Like, a lot of that is just culture, man. A lot of it is knowing that your teammates are going to show up, being able to hold each other accountable. If you don't have that good culture, you don't have that good atmosphere, chemistry, accountability is not going to be a thing. And if you don't have accountability and you don't have people who are willing to stand up for each other and be able to trust each other, you might have spurts where you're going to be good, but it's not going to happen. It's just not.
You going to stay close to the game somehow?
Somehow. I don't know if that'll be high school level. My son's 8. He's about ready to start kid pitch here this fall. So we got to do a crash course here over the next couple months before fall ball starts on balks and stealing and stuff like that.
Is that the oldest of the 4? Or is
we have an 11-year-old daughter.
Okay.
He's our second.
Okay.
Make that sweeper go left.
I don't know. Hey, that's exactly. We'll wait for a couple years for that sweeper, right? Oh, by then the sweeper will be out. You can't even throw sweepers anymore because they'll just get whacked. So I don't know. I think college and professional level, there's a lot of travel that goes on with it. I don't know that that's, unless I'm sitting at home. I've told a lot of people this. My ideal job in professional baseball would be the team gets me the best Wi-Fi money can buy. You send me all the videos you want me to look at, and I'll see which pitch tips I can find. I'll go through hitters like 2 series ahead. I'll write reports for you on how I think they can be gotten out. And I'll sit at home and do it. That sounds like a lot of fun. But Legion baseball in Missouri is still really big. And in our area, there's probably 5 different high schools that feed into the Legion program. And I happen to know the guy that runs it really well. And he told me when I was getting ready for spring training this year, I've got a fungo and a bucket ready for you whenever the time's right, Kyle. And, that might be a lot of fun to just go down there once a week and all the kids from the high schools that are there, let's do some pitching and have a little bit of fun.
I don't know your rate. I imagine it's more than I can afford, but I played baseball for 2 years in 7th and 8th grade and never again, and now I'm trying to learn how to pitch at 39.
What level are you trying to pitch at? I'd say it's doable.
No, it's really what it is. It's just extremely poor muscle memory. So I'm very long, right? And I just I played football and basketball, but I'm not an athlete. It's more of a grinder. And my throw just I've come to learn that I'm a pie thrower. That it's not, and people were like, how did you skip rocks? And I would look at them and be like, I could never skip rocks. That's the problem. Like, they're like, just skip a rock. Yeah. So I'm having to figure all of this out. And honestly, like these guys make fun of me for it, but it's almost like I feel like how an old guy would get into tinkering with trains or or paint. I like going and filming it with a pitch. I want to learn how to do this. It's
he's going to like a real.
I would say two things.
Yeah.
I would say two things here, and I'm not saying this is going to fix it, but maybe you can give me an update here in a couple weeks, right? Two things. One, try a weighted ball, not to create velocity and all this, but weight causes muscles around your body to contract, and you want muscles to be contracting and stable when you're about to throw.
Okay, so I have a bunch of them, but I haven't been throwing them because I figured, I'll do that once I get it. Okay.
Nope. Grab a 6 or 7 ounce ball and go through shorter arm actions and throw it into a wall. Don't worry about where the ball goes because you need arm path help, right?
Yes.
Now the other thing, I would take so if you go back and look at some of the stories from a few years before Texas, there was a yellow ball called a connection ball that I used to keep my arm within 90 degrees and not get out, right? Pie thrower, I'm going to see if I can move. Pie thrower, you're probably super long here, right?
Yes.
And you're not tight to your ear. You need to be a little bit tighter to your ear. So find you're going to get made fun of this by the gentleman sitting next to you, but find a dodgeball or something that can fit in this gap right here and do form throwing with this weighted ball. Step and throw. And if the dodgeball goes forward, great. But what's going to happen is it's going to go to the right because it's called forearm fly out, and that's the pie throw.
Got it.
So you need to get that ball going forward. So do two things: weighted balls and get that connection ball to get your hand connected to your body. Let me know how it goes in a couple weeks.
I'm sorry Jake has wasted your time, valuable time with trying to teach an old man. The reason he's doing it is because he has a 2-year-old kid and he doesn't want to be embarrassed when they go have a father-son catch. He
does not want to be that Mercedes-Benz commercial or whatever company it was where, what things do you take from your dad and your dad can't play catch and he's trying to teach you. Don't want to do that. I get it.
No, it's not happening.
Well, I think this all started because the neighbor kids made fun of him, I think, one time.
Oh, was that it?
Just forget about it. We're consulting with the MLB pitcher here.
I know, but we can't – every major league pitcher we get on can't be your coach.
That's tough.
Although it does seem –
give it a few weeks. You'll be there.
I'm going to get there. Trust me.
Hey, did you call?
And I'll tell you, when you start using this dodgeball in your elbow, you'll want to play catch in your basement and make sure nobody sees you because that's how I was.
Yeah.
So you're going to get made fun of, but just go through it because you'll get through it.
Did you call your own pitches? I'm asking this because I watched you watched things on video, right? You don't read, but do you look at things like did you see the Greg Maddux documentary?
A lot of good picture books.
The Greg Maddux documentary was on the MLB Network or something. It was awesome.
I saw a few parts of that. Snippets of it. I didn't sit down and watch all of it, but fascinating, man. It's fascinating.
But one of the things I took from it was he had a system no one ever knew about until he retired, apparently, where he would call his own pitches with the way he received the ball. He would be calling the next pitch. Like if I caught it over here, it's the curve. Like it was awesome. And plus, I've heard many different, people like, the coach called the pitches or the catcher would call the pitch. Like how would that work for you? Seems like it's all based on you would want to call your own pitches, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I was very fortunate. I had a lot of catchers that did a lot of homework and had a really good plan. And, our meetings were how we can sync up our plans. But like Jose Trevino, for instance, I just was texting with him the other day and our meetings were so much fun because he did just as much homework as I did almost. So he had a plan. So what I always wanted the catchers to call it. And then I just let them know, I don't mind shaking off here, but I want you guys to go with your gut because you're watching a swing. You kind of have the idea of a hitter. I want to know what you think. Pitch com every now and then I'd push a pitch before, the catcher was ready, but just mainly for time. And then actually the other thing, if I knew before pitch com, if I knew that I wanted to throw a slider or a changeup or whatever, I would just make sure the hitter wasn't looking and I would just tell him, put it down by my leg and, a 2, hey, first pitch curveball to lefty. All right, put a 2 down there. And the catcher just kind of knew that, every now and then I'm going to randomly give you a number and just put it down and let's go for it.
That's awesome. What did you think of the pitch clock? Having pitched before and after it.
I don't know. I mean, sure, fast games. I get it. I don't think it'll ever be talked about, but I think it'll be interesting to know if somebody's willing to dive into pitcher injuries and see how it's affected, because the numbers of being fatigued after 15 to 20 pitches are real versus beforehand. I think suspense and anticipation is great for big moments. And I think you lose that in some of the games because it's just here, get going. And I also think that if you ask fans if they had fun today at the game, the first thing they say is not going to be, well, yeah, it was 2 hours and 27 minutes and we're in and out of here and it was great. I think they care if their team wins, whether it takes 3 hours or 2 hours and 20 minutes or 3 hours and 45 minutes. They want to see their team win and they want to have fun doing it. So I think it's been effective for TV, probably keeps the games inside the 3 hour window. But I don't know.
Yeah, like you said, it's trade-offs.
Yeah, it's trade-offs. I don't know.
How important was it for you to finish your career above 500, which you did?
I think I almost blew that this year, probably. But not that important, honestly. I don't know. The more I started worrying about at times personal stats and what I was doing, the more I felt like I just got selfish and looked at myself, and I wasn't who I'm, created to be. So the only reason I know that I had 114 wins, 114 or 112, I don't even know. The only reason I have that is because somebody sent me a funny video and they're recapping my career and like, you know what, we're just so proud of your 114 wins and all this. I don't really, I couldn't tell you most of my stats, quite honestly. I knew that I was short of 2,000 innings. I got to 1,500 strikeouts last year, so I can tell you some of those, but like, I don't know. That was just never really the reason why I played the game.
And I also wanted to ask, this is your life, because you had Tommy John surgery. You always hear, hey, some guys come back stronger.
Mm-hmm.
What was your experience with Tommy John?
Yeah, it was that. I think
maybe
I had an elbow surgery.
We're looking into it.
Get him some Tommy John, yeah.
Need a good rehab program.
Dodgeball and
a good rehab program. I will say the first pitch when I got into a rehab game after Tommy John was 94, and that was probably the first time I'd hit 94 in a little bit. And then after Tommy John, I was pretty consistently 3 to 5 and felt really good about it. I was the last few years though. I had heard that the kind of the shelf life of a Tommy John ligament's like 8 to 11 years, 8 to 10 years. And I had mine in 2011. Yep. So I think I was pushing the limits a little bit. So every year I was just like, all right, let's get one more year out of this.
I think that's how implants are, actually, is you just
like breast implants?
Yeah, seriously. It's like, all right, every so you don't think about that. Are you still into gardening?
I had not thought about that one time until you just said that. So
how's gardening life?
You know what? It's something that I'm very much looking forward to next spring whenever I'm home for sure. My mom has a really nice garden here. It finally got sunny. It's been raining all morning, but I'm going to take the kids out there. They love it. We're going to take the kids out there and see what she's got for today. But we had found a couple black raspberry bushes, wild ones around our property. And our kids were just loving walking up there every 3 days and seeing what they could pick and eat. And I don't know. My wife studied nutrition and fitness. So, we take, fruits and vegetables and eating as fresh as we could, pretty seriously. So I'm excited to get back into that and have time to do that.
And you're on a podcast right now.
Yep.
Like, I was surprised to see. Jake said you were on a podcast, and I looked at it, and I thought it was you were appearing to talk about your retirement. You've been on this all year, even when you were in Tampa. Or minors.
Yeah. Lance Lynn asked me probably like mid-March, early March. He's like, hey, Jim Hayes wants to do a podcast and asked if I'd want to do it. And I said, well, yeah, let's see if Gibby wants to do it. And he goes, if I'm not playing, I'm going to do it. If I'm playing, I'm doing it. So we started it up, and Matt Holliday's on it as well. And it's been a lot of fun. I think one thing that a lot of people that know me can say is I like to talk a lot, and I like to talk sports, and I like to talk baseball. So it's been a lot of fun staying in touch with those guys and being able to recap certain things that happened.
What's it called?
Serving It Up.
Serving It Up. We can get you 2 or 3 listeners.
I kind of thought, thank you, I appreciate that. I kind of thought that might be kind of cool with 2 pitchers to be able to come up with a home run every podcast and talk about the pitch sequence and how we served it up. So Jim Hayes, the host, he hasn't really dove into that yet. I'm sure he'll surprise us at some point and make us go through a homer. Maybe it'll be the 5-homer day against the Yankees from this year. Maybe that'll be the first one I do. But
well, I wasn't sure what your plans were media-wise, broadcast-wise, but our show's come a long way, and now we make these really terrible AI jingles. So I made one for your new talk show. This is I think this is Kyle Gibson's show, right?
She's recently retired, played where they filmed The Wire. Your 10-year garden for hire. He knows rock garden higher. It's the Kyle Gibson Show.
What do you think, Kyle?
You know what? When I start my own show, if I ever do, I'm going to ask you for that audio file.
I assume you do know Ron Gardenhire. I just made an assumption there.
Of course.
And you will tend someone's garden for hire. You're retired now, so.
Gardy was
Stop
my first
defending
manager.
your terrible song.
And he played where they filmed The Wire.
He did play where they filmed The Wire.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can have that
show
one.
was talked about in the locker room too. So yes, absolutely.
So
I appreciate that.
Accuracy is important.
That is interesting. Guys just actually talk about The Wire when they're playing in Baltimore.
Well, I mean, it was a big show for the city, right? So,
Sure.
And then Bautista, his walkout last year. I don't know if the kind of the whole presentation theater of it is this year, but
the Omar.
That's
the
where
Omar
it came
whistle?
from.
That
was
was
the
so
first part.
badass.
Yeah, it was awesome. So that was from the show. So they played that in, and it was good.
Oh, that's cool. Well, man, it's great to talk to you. It's
thank you guys.
It's really cool. I mean, you can just tell that you're like living the purpose and you feel fulfilled, and it's awesome to see from afar, dude. It's cool.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Always good catching up with my Ranger people, man. That was it's a special 2021. Obviously, I wish the trade wouldn't have happened, been able to play out the first the whole 3 years. But people ask me about my time in Texas. Like, well, COVID happened, so that was 60 games. Didn't really get to experience much of Texas. But on the flip side, 2021, when COVID was still shutting down a lot of places, Texas was the one place that we had full stadiums.
Yes, sir,
we were
baby.
rocking it, man.
You want a margarita to go?
Awesome. It was awesome. But I don't know that I necessarily got the full chance to experience all of Texas, which is a little disappointing because I was really excited about that. But the business side of baseball happens.
And in the long run, I feel like Philly won that trade.
I don't know. I don't know how those other guys are doing.
Spencer Howard is not doing that well. So
yeah, we had a lot of fun in Philly. But what was cool was Ian Kennedy and I going together. We had gotten to know them over the few years prior. So to be teammates with him and then getting traded with him, you guys might have read or not, I don't remember. But we actually rented for the last 2 months of the season the famous Muhammad Ali house across the state border in Jersey, and his kids and my kids and our families rented this 8-bedroom house together. So we actually lived together for the last 2 months of the year. We had, I think they had 6 kids at the time, maybe 5, but we had 8 kids running around that place and 4 adults, and it was wild. But that was a cool part about that trade, going with him and being able to experience that.
All right. Good times, man. Thanks so much for joining us.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you guys. Talk
That
to
is
you
the
soon.
great Kyle Gibson. No longer a major league pitcher. 112 and 111.
What
His
a dude.
final stats. All right. Sorry we interrupted closing
worries.
remarks. Is that okay for you?
Yeah, it's fine, man.
Will that fit?
That'll fit.
Did we have to wrap anything else up?
No, I want to talk about the book briefly.
Yeah, that's what I mean with the book.
Do you know our friend Jordan Rogers from Nike?
No,
You need to hook up with him. He's a buddy of ours who was a brand manager at Nike, and he tried to get off into this whole world of like working with the athletes and NIL. Just seeing a lot of people trying to like maybe take advantage of the kids.
Oh, yeah.
Is that just as commonplace as it seems now?
Oh, yeah. No, I mean, they're in the NIL world, there are actually like NIL agents now. Like lots of people have those relationships, and as you've seen, excuse me, as you've seen lots of.
Oh my God, that was awesome.
Yeah,
it sounded like you're underwater.
Oh man, yeah, special effects there. As you've seen, lots of collegiate organizations now have like general managers. Like I know Lombardi is at North Carolina, and there's just more business being put into that world, which creates more areas for tomfoolery and like kids who don't know anything who are like, hey, should I take this $2 million? Well, is that $2 million better than taking $1 million here at a different program that could actually be better for the long-term track of your career? Just lots of decisions that come into that always get blurred with dollar signs. That's really what it comes down to.
How do you get interviews with the guys listed here? Like, you interviewed like Reddick, Carmelo, or okay? I thought there was a list of like decision makers. I may be looking. Are there 2 books with the same title?
I hope not.
Oh, no. I'm looking at yours here. Analyze interviews for. Are you just saying you include the interviews?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's a lot of like we tracking an interview and kind of diving into. So specifically, the back of the book, which I have here, is got quotes that are in the chapters of the book that stem off of different things that we heard. Like one in particular is this one here. Fat Luka got the Mavericks to the conference finals by the age of 25. I wouldn't care, Tony, if he was backing a guy down in the post and he had a Red Lobster bib on with butter sauce dripping off of it. I would give that guy the Supermax. Well, that's what Tim Legler said to Tony Kornheiser. Yeah. So it's just like different excerpts of things like that tie into these different chaotic stories, but a lot of the common thread is in that whole NIL world, and given that we are lawyers by profession, we dove into the fact that the Supreme Court has even looked into and ruled on different NIL issues. There's a specific quote here from Justice Kavanaugh that talks about the fact that nowhere else in America can businesses get away with agreeing to not pay their workers a fair market rate on the theory that their product is defined by not paying their workers a fair market rate. The NCAA is not above the law. Like, you have to, if you're going to say, all right, well, let's pay these players and let's handle this like having an actual roster with a salary cap or however you want to break that down, you can't just like autonomously be like, well, this person should be able to get X amount of dollars and this person should only be able to get Y amount of dollars because we feel that their effect on the team as a whole doesn't necessarily bring about that dollar figure. Because as you know, I don't know, y'all know now that these schools have like salary caps.
Sure.
Like they're supposed to spend X amount of dollars every year. Well, that's kind of, what's on the up and up. What else is happening on the side? Again, is it more advantageous for a guy to go to Texas and take less money because he's from Texas? In the long run, it'll give him more Texas marketing or across the state.
Brand equity.
Exactly. Brand equity. Does that outweigh going to, whatever, Iowa State, who's maybe going to pay you $5 million, but you're more likely to get hurt because maybe the roster's not as good. You're not building as much as of a brand equity. These, most collegiate or up-and-coming athletes now, they're all about the brand themselves. And, they're thinking about that as they're making these decisions. But again, lots of times that just gets cloudy by the fact of dollar signs. And then they just start thinking of like, well, what is maybe the best thing to do right now? That might not be the best thing for you 5 years down the road. But when you've got this agent, this college agent saying, hey, no, sign on the dotted line there because that's advantageous for me, but maybe that's not the best for you.
What were you thinking when Quinn Ewers first went to Ohio State and didn't even play high school for his senior year?
Like, in the fact that was
just good. Like, is that would that be something you would want to analyze? At that point, is this better for your career overall?
Exactly.
Is it
No, exactly.
His situation was. It's always interesting too if the family has their own resources, like you see with Arch redshirting.
Exactly.
But so, like, when you do a work like this, is the idea obviously college courses, but I would imagine you would want to go like speak about it.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'd
so
love to go to
what's
Sloan.
well, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm thinking of. Or
Yeah.
things like that. Is that how you market stuff like this? How does this work? How do you get the book out there?
Yeah, so I mean, essentially, kind of explained earlier, we had come up with this thought process of, there's a war of reasons that go on where you're trying to conflict various things. Is this best for me business-wise, sports-wise, morality-wise, whatever it may be? And I'm doing a decision dynamics process to make those. Well, we were trying to partner with a Big Ten university to try and get this like in the athletic department. And we're like, hey, let's start with assessing track and field athletes, or I know we'll have to get our way up to the football program, but let's kind of like start this in. And what is their decision-making process? What is your decision-making process in bringing these people in? The money, the amount of NIL dollars you're allocating to them, or however it may be. Well, that guy just didn't kind of really get it because the academic world doesn't necessarily understand the competitive sports world. And one of the main things that guy said to us was when we were going over all of our, like, how would you make this decision and how would it affect you? He was like, well, wouldn't these people be thinking, well, I left my high school teammates behind. They didn't get to make it to this next level. And we were like, well, no, that's not the mentality that someone who becomes a professional athlete has.
Right.
They're a grinder. They're out there. They're a killer. They're trying to like get to that next level. They're not necessarily as worried about leaving their high school teammates behind. They've made it to the next level. They're looking for those next decisions, those next level steps. So it just really didn't resonate with him. So we kind of got together and we thought, let's essentially make a roadmap that is this book that we could be like, hey, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the fact that you need to be considering these varying wars whenever you're making a decision for you to be able to accurately make that decision. Because if not, you're going to leave something behind because you're not thinking about, like we were talking earlier, what the intrinsic value that Luka brings to the city of Dallas, or that John Morant brings to the city of Memphis, or that Giannis Antetokounmpo brings to the city of Milwaukee. Like those guys, like they're bringing more stuff to their cities that you can't necessarily quantify with, well, how does that relate to their cap hit? Or how many games are they winning? But if you decide to offload that guy, you should have thought about that in your
I think that a lot
process.
about Giannis this offseason because there's a lot of NBA media that wants to just talk Giannis trade.
Yeah.
And I really don't think that's ever in the cards. I kind of don't think it's in his head.
I don't either. He does the weird
his...
stuff where he'll like unfollow him on Instagram every few years.
That's a little weird.
But I've never thought he was.
But he seems Dirkish to me in that he's been embraced by that city. He likes the city. He got his title.
Yeah.
So if he never got his title, I could see it. And that's what Dirk has always said. He probably would have gone ring chasing. But once he got his title, he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't think anyone weighs that in when they're like, well, maybe they'll just decide to trade him to Houston and get some of those draft picks. Like, I think the fan base would revolt.
Exactly.
And probably the test case of Dallas has shown some of these other franchises, you know what? I might have been scared at that Supermax, but I gotta
do
it.
Well, no, the whole Mavericks Luka fiasco is a perfect example of all this because it shows the effect that it had on the city, the effect the negative goodwill backlash that it had on the city based off of them taking this player out. They did it under the cover of night. They did it to like a shady situation with no other buyer. Like there's all this weird stuff around it that makes it seem like a sticky situation, and that's because it is. It really is.
Where like when Oklahoma City was they're Oklahoma City. They never claimed to be this franchise of loyalty that would never, and they just said, we're all poor, we're going to get rid of Harden. We're going to get, like, eventually.
Say tax. That's all you got to say.
Yeah. And then on the flip side of that, like Giannis in Milwaukee, the Milwaukee ownership group needs to do everything they can to try and keep him there so that in the long run, if he ultimately decides to leave, it's, well, Giannis left us.
Right.
It's not that
same
we
thing
left
would have been
Giannis.
here.
Yeah,
and that keeps your fans loyal.
Exactly.
Because you gave us what we wanted all these years. It's not your fault that you lost Luka.
Exactly.
He left. He's the bad guy.
And that's like a common thread in the foundation of this book is that sports are unique in the fact that you create a sports love. Like as evidenced by my shirt, I unrealistically and devoutedly love the Cowboys. And as a child of the late 80s, all I've known of success from the Cowboys was like, when I was 8 and younger? But I still diehardly show up and I do it every day I'm excited for the season because I still at the core love them. Even though they might make some bonehead decisions here and there and they don't necessarily always keep to the same track record, I still have a sports love at the foundation of that. And I feel like that's a unique thing to sports as opposed to brand. Like you might be like, oh, I'm a Ford guy or I'm a Chevy guy. Yeah. But do people get a lot of Ford tattoos? But they get a lot of Cowboy stars, or they get a lot of 76ers logos, or Lombardi trophies, or whatever it may be. They do that, but they don't always go out and be like, "Oh man, I'm a big Camaro SS guy, and I get that across my chest."
When I was in high
Coca-Cola,
school,
or whatever it may be.
When I was in high school, the only tattoo because my buddy got one, so I thought I might get it. I might go ahead and get myself a Chief Wahoo.
It's shocking that your calf.
Is it amazing
does not have
that
a
I don't
Chief
have
Wahoo
that?
on
Like,
it.
if I
Yeah.
had a tattoo, it would be a Chief
that.
Wahoo, and then I'd be possibly canceled, but it'd be back now.
It would be back now.
I lasered it off and
Sports Chaos.
Yes, Sports Chaos.
Available on Amazon.
Yes, available on Amazon. You could get a regular old hard copy book here or a regular old soft copy book for $15. For $5 more, you can get a hard copy. And for just $5, you can get the PDF.
There you go.
Wow. What kind of a deal? Is that the end of closing remarks?
Oh, also to say, Blake 42 is awesome. I commend you on playing with your grandpa. I used to play that all the time, like me and a buddy of mine and like Deacons and stuff like that. That's how I grew up on it. So keep up with the 42, man, for sure.
We went to the same high school.
Yeah, we did.
Oh.
Small little high school.
Garland
GCA.
Christian Academy.
Did you play football?
I did.
Everybody played football.
Everybody played football.
Okay.
Yeah, there was no cuts.
No.
And my senior year, we went 1-19.
Been there.
Yeah.
Who's the one?
Oh, I'm trying to remember.
What an embarrassed team that is.
I want to say it was like TK Gorman or something like that.
Or the School for the Blind.
Yeah, it might have been. Yeah, sometimes we played them. And it was funny, sophomore year we played Prestonwood and we beat them because Prestonwood wasn't Prestonwood. And then junior year and every sequential year after that, Prestonwood stomped our face in.
Well.
Adios, mofo.
We gotta go before this becomes a zoo.
Thank you for watching my video. Subscribe and type for my name if you want to watch more of my videos.
If you can't stop anybody, then the quarterback's always having to throw the ball, and then that doesn't look so good. If you can't run the ball, then you've got to throw it. If you can't protect, quarterback's getting hit, ball's on the ground, I mean, all those things. And so the quarterback is the one position that everybody feels that leaves the stadium or watch the game. They have a definitive opinion as to whether or not that guy played well. And it's all based on stats and based on stats and based on stats and it's all based on stats and based on stats and based on stats and throw the ball and then that based on stats and balls on the ground, throw the ball and then that based on stats and balls on the ground. Everybody feels that balls on the ground, that balls on the ground, that balls on the ground, that everybody feels that balls on the ground, that balls on the ground, that balls on the ground, that all I know is the ball was incomplete, and it must have been a bad throw. Ball was incomplete. The ball's on. I feel that the ball was incomplete. Ball's on the ground. I feel that the ball was incomplete. Ball's on the ground. The ball's on the ground. The ball's on the ground. Ball was incomplete. The ball's on the ground. The quarterback's ball's getting hit.